So today we're going to talk about a familiar playbook that many of us have already lived through. And now it's on the record. It's not a rumor, it's no longer speculation, it's about statements made publicly, and we're going to be watching that later. It's in someone's own words that connect very important dots. What's come to light is a connection that matters because those of us, who are part of the pain community, we know also well, like losing access to our meds and how that's affected us. And when you hear about who's involved with this and what history tells us about how this plays out, you're going to be shocked. We pain patients lost access to legitimate pain management. That happened to me in 2019. And we were told it was necessary for public health. We were told that the harm was unintended. I mean, look at how many suicides happened after this because people couldn't get their pain treated. We were told it was a cost of doing the right thing, even though most of us were not addicted to our legitimate prescription pain meds. Now we're hearing familiar language again. Talk of education shaping policy, litigation being discussed before outcomes are measured, a narrative forming that leaves out the people who will be most affected. We're going to talk about why the involvement of the same expert voices matter, why pain patients keep getting erased from all of these conversations, and why Kratom consumers may be heading towards the same kind of collateral damage. And let me be clear about something. Grief is real. Loss is real. But grief does not justify collateral damage. Many of us have already been through this. And so it's not going to be just about the Kratom bans. It's about who controls the narrative and who gets sacrificed when policy is driven by ideology and litigation strategy instead of lived experience. Pain patients were never asked, but Kratom consumers were not being asked. We've seen this playbook before, and that's why we're going to talk about it today. So welcome to the Kratom Gals. This is your weekly dose of real talk, real stories, and relentless advocacy. Each week, we dive into the latest Kratom headlines because there's always so many things going on, a lot of misinformation. We react to videos, and we call out misinformation with facts and with a lot of passion. This isn't just a show. It's a movement to protect the plant we love, which is natural Kratom. My name is Madeline Sklar. I'm the host of this live stream series. And I also host the Kratom Stories podcast, in addition to the Kratom Gals and the Kratom Real Talk community over on School. I've been a daily Kratom consumer of natural leaf for 6.5 years for my chronic pain after losing pain management that I was in for 9 years, taking daily pain meds, opiates, and other meds. Never got in trouble, never had an issue, but certain powers that be got in the way of our pain management. And so many of us lost access, many of us. A lot of people turned to suicide. A lot of people went to the streets so they could get something to get pain relief. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking, do I have to get a drug dealer? Like, it was no joke. I was seriously trying to find how to find me a drug dealer so I could get my same pain meds that were helping me have quality of life. And thank God I found Kratom in 2019 from a documentary called A Leaf of Faith. And that was life-changing for me. This plant has been just a miracle for me. And that's why I'm always on here talking about it. And now with the information that's come to light, anybody that lives with chronic pain, that's been a pain patient or still is, you're going to want to hear all about this. And it's going to get you fired up because this should not be happening. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe here on YouTube. It really helps so other people in our community can find us. We lost our previous YouTube. We're back with this one. We're just being a little extra careful with our content, but please help us spread the word. We're building it back up. It's a brand new account, but it's moving quick. We're already getting people subscribing and lots of views and comments, and I'm getting some of the past podcast episodes back up. Now, please note this live stream is for educational purposes. We are not giving out medical advice here. We're here to share our personal experience with the plant, with natural Kratom, and advocate for responsible use of it. All views here expressed are our own. Okay. Let's bring up the gals because, man, we got a lot to talk about. Gals, woof. Can you tell them?
Hi.
Hi, gals.
Can you tell them
It,
fired up? My
uh,
gosh.
yeah, I'm very excited about the show today, and it's our
Very
first show of
excited.
the new year. And
Yes.
Twinkle's back. I'm so
I'm
excited to see
back.
you.
I missed you. Missed you.
We've missed you. You look great, Twinkle. We've missed
Thank
you.
you. And since I seen you last, well, I think I've been off at least 3, 4 weeks with you. I've lost like another 8 pounds. So thank you. Thank you. And so I'm about 30 pounds since I joined you guys 7 months ago or something.
Wow.
So yeah.
That is
And I
awesome. And a lot of
pray
work.
a lot of work, a lot of work with the move. So, but we're here, and this is where we're staying, and eventually we'll move on to, all of us get another place together, which will be our forever home. So, but we'll be here for a year or two, and perfectly fine.
Well, you got a great big smile on your face, so I can see how happy you are.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here with us today.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to everybody that's here live with us. And for those watching the replay, we appreciate you. Be sure to share this out because we're just trying to help spread the word that we're back with this new YouTube account. It was such a bummer because we had built up so much momentum with the other account that we've been using for several years. And it's when you're a Kratom advocate, these things happen. You lose accounts because they
Yeah.
don't like the content we put out. But it's also learning what's allowed and what's not allowed. And I'm definitely one to push the boundaries. So but yeah, we're glad everybody's here with us today because, man, we have such an important topic, some really wild information that's come to light, and we got a video to watch that's just going to be stunning if you haven't seen it yet. For those that suffer with chronic pain, oh my gosh, this is going to fire you up because we've already watched the playbook once before, and now we're seeing that they're trying to apply it to kratom, and it's sickening. I'm sickened by this.
Yeah.
Sickened. So now more than ever, we've got to band together and advocate because we've got to stop this in its tracks. Real quick, you can, for those that want to come support us in our efforts, if you go over to our website at Kratom Stories Podcast, we have a support page. The link in the notification at the top, at the far right, says donate. That'll take you to this page right here. It says support our efforts. And we got multiple ways if you want to help support all these advocacy things that we do, because it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time and tools and apps that cost money. But we've got Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and we just added subscription tiers inside our Kratom Real Talk community at school. So we have, multiple ways for people that want to help, whether it's a one-time support donation or you want to do something regularly. And also we have a new Substack, and on Substack there is for those that want to donate through there, it's kind of like Patreon. They have little subscription tiers. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention, also on our website is our newsletter. You can join our newsletter. I have a link at the top that says newsletter, or you can just go to kratomstoriespodcast.com/newsletter. But we've moved our newsletter over to Substack. And I'm really excited about using Substack because it's part newsletter, but is also like a social media feed. And it's very much like old school Twitter, back when Twitter was better. And so I really like this. I'm going to show y'all real quick what it looks like. But be sure to come subscribe. You just put in your email address. You can do it here through our website or go over hit the link there that'll take you to Substack. This is what it looks like. This is the newsletter page where you can see, the newsletters that have gone out so far, like the new one that went out a few days ago. And it's just like our previous newsletter. It's just instead of doing it through one tool, we're doing it now through Substack, and it's easier for people to find publicly as well. And it's just keeping people caught up on the latest with everything. We always have like the most recent Kratom Gals as well. Some Kratom news is real easy for me to put together the latest news. I've been doing this all this time with the newsletter. I always just have some of the latest stuff for people to know about. And what's cool with Substack, I can actually put a tweet up in there and you can see the tweet, which is really cool instead of it just being a link only. So, and our partners in advocacy. So yeah, we got a lot of great helpful information here. And then also the part that's more like the feed is this is so the part I just showed you was a newsletter. This is what the social media feed looks like. So when you follow me on here, you know I can do posts just like on other social media. This is what we're going to be doing today right here. That I have the video we're going to watch, and yeah,
I
we're
like
just
it because we can answer back. We can talk back and forth.
exactly, and it's all free. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a social media feed built right in. So yeah, super excited about this. Anyway, yeah, we're going to before we watch the main thing today. I always like to start off catching us up on whatever the latest news stories that are out, and there was one. It's short, but there's just one I want us to start with that is talking about kratom deaths in Idaho. Have y'all been hearing about this? It's this Bonneville County, Idaho, that they've been reporting deaths related to kratom there. Has anybody heard about that?
I haven't only because I have been very busy, but
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get back. I haven't. So please, I'm looking forward
I
to
haven't
filling
heard
us
about it.
in.
Please. Yeah, I haven't heard about it.
No
Okay.
worries. No worries.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
all good. That's why I play these things here, because I want to make sure everybody's
so we can
aware
learn together
of what's going
exactly.
on.
Appreciate that.
So Liberated Outcast is back with us. Great having you back. So spoke out on my other platforms about kratom yesterday, and it was kind of rough. Oh, do tell. What happened? Let us know. So this is going to be just a very short news clip that came out a few days ago, because I've been hearing about these deaths they're saying out of Bonneville County, Idaho. So let me play this real quick so
Yes,
we can
let's
see what this is all about.
The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office and the Bonneville County Coroner's Office are issuing public health announcements about kratom. The Bonneville coroner says there's been an increase in kratom-related deaths across the county, 6 deaths in the last 18 months. The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office says new versions of kratom are being reported as 10 to 20 times more potent than morphine. Last month, Morgan Romero reported on kratom's lack of regulation. You can find her full investigative report right now at ktvb.com.
So that's it. It's very short. And so
But they keep talking about clonic kratom, stronger types of kratom.
right, they always do that.
Right.
So I did some investigating to see, like, well, where's this coming from? Because you know, like we heard about earlier this year, kratom deaths in LA County, right? They put out a whole statement. It was all over the news. And then I think it was Wired magazine or just some magazine like did this investigation, and they found that they were not kratom only deaths. They all involved alcohol and other things, and medical issues, and like it was a whole host of things, and got the LA County to like end up saying you're right or whatever. I don't know. I wish I'd saved it because I can't find it. But we played. I showed everybody this.
But when they put it out negative like that, they don't retract it with the same passion and put that out and let everybody
know. It was never
know.
retracted.
Right.
It was never retracted.
It leads everybody to believe
and it still gets
true.
mentioned. People still talk about the LA County deaths. I think they were framing it as specifically 7OH deaths, but it was like, you know, I think it was like six of them, I think, or something.
That I recall, yes.
But it turned out it was not because of that. So people are very misinformed, claiming that the tea killed someone they knew. Further inquiry revealed it was really extracts. Oh, yeah, it's usually extracts or 7OH, not natural kratom. I mean, a couple of people go around saying that was. And I mean, sadly, people die every day from all kinds of things. You can drink too much water and die, or have a bad reaction to something. Or maybe it was tainted with something. It was... I mean, that's why regulation is so important. One woman called me a murderer, said I should be ashamed myself, and then I'm disgusted. Just block them. They're not worth it. They're not worth the time. It's they're not going to listen. They don't care. When y'all see what we're going to be watching later, they don't care about any of us. They never have and never will.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
it's sad but true.
It's all
So
intended consequences. These are not unintended consequences. It's quite
exactly.
intended. Yep. Yep.
100, such a great way of putting it. So there's
Thank you.
Bonneville, Idaho. I went and did a little digging around. So that little short snippet story we just saw, they had their coroner's office had put this out. They put this out in October. So this is already from, several months back. That was 3 months ago. So I don't know why that news story just came out a few days ago, whereas, this was reported 3 months ago. But they're saying that the Bonneville County Coroner's Office is issuing a public health alert regarding dangerous and potentially fatal consequences of using kratom. And it comes in response to concerning increase in deaths around the county, directly linked to the herbal substance. So it's saying deaths skyrocketed in Bonneville County. In the last 18 months, the county coroner's office has investigated 6 kratom-related deaths. A staggering 4 of those fatalities were determined to be solely due to acute drug toxicity of mitragynine, the primary active compound in kratom. This is a wake-up call for our community, is what the coroner said. To put this into perspective, kratom is now implicated in approximately 18% of the drug overdose fatalities in our county over the last year and a half. So I guess it's a small county.
They should have to put links to the bottom of their proof at each article.
Cite them exactly with citations or references. Correct. They should. Because anybody could say anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yep. So at the end, it says a plea to the public. They're urging all residents to discontinue the use of kratom. Individuals using kratom who are struggling with addiction or pain management should seek professional medical help immediately. A lot of us are using this because we lost access.
That's right.
Because we can't get help.
We cannot.
That's right.
They will not
thrown
get
away, thrown away, discarded, called every name you can think of, and
and they don't care.
No.
They don't care.
I've just walked out of the hospital before, and they don't care. They just let you walk out. They do not care.
Yep.
Yeah, sadly, and just.
And then just knowing that adds another layer of depression and anxiety and worry and medical PTSD. And it took me years to get through that. I'm not hurt by it the same way anymore. Sometimes it'll grab me, it'll grab me up, and I'm suddenly, overwhelmed again because of what I've gone through. But it takes people years. It took me years, and I'm a pretty strong person when it comes to being resilient, and it's not right. So they're actually adding more chronic illness to people by treating us the way that they do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I still have a lot of trauma from it. And I noticed that when I first started drinking kratom,
I'm sorry, gals. I'll be right back. It's a mini emergency.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. But I remember when I first started taking kratom that my mind just did not want to remember that past 17 years at all. And it blocked it out. And that was why I had so much trouble talking to you and telling my story, because it was that bad. And then seeing the other stories on Twitter, and it just brings back a lot of, I'd like to stay on there and help people all day, do it all day, but just reading their stories tears my heart out.
Yeah. I think Christopher's watching. If you are, Christopher, I just got your text. So we didn't have time to tell you, but when we were starting the stream, it was doing that portrait thing and it was messing up the screen. So I had to remove your 2 streams. But I see you added them back in, so thank you. It's just that little box you got to remember to check off properly, because it throws off the whole thing. Craig, who goes by Mike Hunt, said, Mike C. Hunt. Oh, Craig, you get me with that. Okay, how much is 12,000 milliliters in grams? I don't know. That whole extract thing, I never understand how to equate them. So I don't know. Maybe Christopher knows.
Yeah, I think whatever it says, like the amount is in like if it says 50, it would be equal to like 5 milligrams, something like that.
That's like an estimate. I mean, it's not like an exact.
No,
like you move the decimal over. Amanda, great that you're here. Good to see you. I know I reached out to you last minute. Yeah, we had last minute cancellation. Becca was not able to join us. Not feeling well today, and so plus this is a conversation we're very fired up to discuss. So, Amanda, if you want to come join in, let me know and I'll send you the link. But because later when I get to the video we're going to watch. Oh, I sent it. That's right. You saw it in the DMs. Oh, we're gonna watch it and talk about it. And I guarantee you we're going to talk about it for a good chunk of our day. Because yeah, we are fired up. We are fired up. But before because we're going to get into that pretty soon here. But before we do, I want to kind of frame this up. So first, I want to start with an article that came out in People magazine several months back. And I'm pretty sure we talked about it here. So there was a story that came out in People magazine, and it says, her son took Kratom for 6 weeks. You gotta love, like, let's do the most clickbait headline possible. Her son took Kratom for 6 weeks. It killed him. We had no way of knowing it was addictive. Exclusive. So, yeah, there's this whole article about a 27-year-old who had been using Kratom
for 6 weeks.
And then had a seizure and died back in 2022. And
I really think that the adult children that passed away would not want their parents, number one, to be going through all this, being lied to. But if they did research Kratom and they knew what they were doing and taking, then I'm sure that they would have felt the same way we felt if anything were to happen to us. We wouldn't want it blamed on Kratom because that's not what it is.
Right. Well, what they always do in these articles down here says, talking about the side effects like nausea, itching, sweating, dry mouth, constipation, increased urination, tachycardia, vomiting, drowsiness, and a loss of appetite. Users of Kratom has also experienced anorexia. That's false. Weight loss. Some people lose weight, some people gain weight. It's not usually because of Kratom.
Right. And
lifestyle.
we've had people tell us that had the symptoms of the anorexia, that it helped them not feel that way. So
this is what people have told me. They feel better and they lost weight because they're active now. They're able to get off the couch after suffering in chronic pain, and they're able to get off the couch and work out and be active again. So quite a few people say they lose weight. They're not anorexic. They lose weight because they're active again, which is amazing. Right. I've been taking it every day for 6.5 years. I have not gained weight or lost weight. But then there's more: insomnia, hepatotoxicity, seizure, and hallucinations. They love to always say seizures and hallucinations. I already did a video. I played it here before. The science does not show that Kratom causes seizures. The researchers even went back through everything and went through it all and show that there is no connection between Kratom and seizures. And then they love to say hallucinations. Who is hallucinating from natural Kratom? I'd like to know who's hallucinating from that. That doesn't happen.
No. And I would guess if they are, they would already been hallucinating prior, like whatever illness they had already had them hallucinating before they took the Kratom.
Exactly. Amanda, I'm going to send you the link real quick. I saw your comment. So we'd love to have you join in. So I just sent it to keep an eye out. But yeah, so I wanted to show y'all first this article because it came out a while back. But what was interesting is further down at the bottom, it talks about how the mom of this man that passed away got involved with a filmmaker to make a documentary called Kratom: Side Effect may include, that's just the name of it, Kratom, side effects may include. And it's actually coming out in some places. My understanding is it's coming out to like, I think a film thing, a film event or something for documentaries. And so it's supposed to be coming out this month, but not, it doesn't show this coming out to stream or anything yet or be available to the public, but more of this is going to be playing like at a, like a film event. You know how documentaries usually start different film events around the country. So yeah, I'm gonna show y'all the website for that in just a moment because there's a trailer in there, and it looks like it's going to be interesting. And they say that they talk to both sides, so that'll be interesting. So, but let me quickly catch up with the comments, and then Amanda's going to be joining us. So, yeah, there's people who have been taking Kratom for decades. Exactly. So, and yeah, I agree with Mel. I've never had any of those side effects, those supposed side effects. I haven't had any. And Amanda says, I found I lost weight because I was able to physically move more. That's a common one we hear. And Angela says, I'm anorexic, not saying it's the Kratom. I tell you what, when I was in pain management, there was a period of time that I was in so much pain, even with the opioids, that I wasn't eating much. I wasn't anorexic, but I mean, I got really thin. I was also trying to be a healthy eater, and I was doing vegan for a while, and then like, oh, I'll just be a vegetarian. Vegan's a little too hard, especially a long time ago when the food choices weren't as good. But it was not from my opioids. It was because I was in a lot of pain, and it made me not feel good. And when I wasn't feeling good, I was not eating. Or stress in my life. If I'm going through certain types of stress, then I'm not eating much. People love to blame Kratom for everything. They love to blame it for everything. And it's like, why don't you take responsibility? You know what? That reminds me. I'm going to play. I have a video I put out on TikTok. Oh, and I just put it up on YouTube too. Let me just grab it off YouTube because, because the thing is, people need to take responsibility, is what it is. Take responsibility for your actions instead of blaming Kratom or whatever else.
Or that's right.
And let me show you, because I have a video, a YouTube short. It's also on my TikTok, and it's a good reminder of all of this. So let me a second. This is a live show, so I have to move around screens. But let me play this for it because people need to take responsibility for their actions. That's the key here. This is such a great comment. The problem is people don't want to hold themselves accountable. It's the consumer's job to make sure they aren't overusing or abusing it. We're talking about Kratom. And we get negative talk all the time and the plant being demonized because there's a small percentage of people that abuse and overuse everything that's around them. And so because they're overusing this plant, now the plant is bad, and it's not. It's not. People need to take responsibility for their actions. They need to be held accountable. There are millions of us just in the US that consume this responsibly, and we get amazing results from this plant. So people need to stop demonizing. Maybe they need to look at themselves a little bit more closely. Oh, that was good.
Yes, very good. We're actually doing people a great disservice by catering and coddling people that can't be accountable and responsible. In a way, you cripple them. You're letting them believe that everything is something else's fault when they're experiencing active addiction. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're, oh, it's okay, that wasn't your fault. That product snuck in on you, or you took it, there was no directions, and these things do happen. I'm not saying they don't happen, but we still need to be accountable to look into what we're taking at any time. Even if it's from a doctor.
Absolutely.
Even if a doctor prescribes it, we need to do our due diligence all the time and stop making excuses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Well said. So glad you're back.
Thank you. Good to be back. I missed you.
And you look
Me
great. You
too.
look
Me
Thank
great.
too.
You look
you.
happy.
Thank you.
I just love it. This is so awesome.
My heart rate variability has been up for 4 days now, and generally I'm between 9 and 11. Sometimes I get a 15. The last few days I've been from 15 to 19, and that's supposed to be 50 to 60 for us. And I'm never, so my nervous system is trying to, regulate itself, and that's just amazing. So many other stressors are off of me. So, and thank you. I had to go. My husband had a little emergency there.
Oh, no
So,
worries. How's he doing? Is he recovering?
he is recovering. He still may end up with amputation, though yesterday it was holding at his appointment. So it is sort of looking better. And then he is on the aggressive antibiotics and the home care. But my son's not here right now. He's okay. Like, he's not incapacitated, but he's just not well and not supposed to be. His foot
Oh,
is
right.
very bad.
Yeah.
It's like rotting. The skin and the bone
Mm,
is, complications of diabetes.
yeah. Well, sorry to hear about all that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I was trying to take Christopher's X live. I was so busy multitasking. I did a comment instead of a quote tweet. I wanted to put it so we are live, so be on my page. How funny. So what I'm going to show y'all next, and hopefully Amanda will get here soon. I'm excited that she's going to join us because it'll be great getting. And if there are any chronic pain people here, and you want to come jump in and be part of the discussion with all of this, let us know, because this is one where I feel like the more voices, the better, because what we're going to be watching a little bit is eye-opening, and it's going to piss off so many people who lost access to their pain meds because of what a group called PROP, Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing, PROP for short. They're the reason why many of us lost access to our meds, even though we weren't addicted, we didn't have issues.
Right.
And they didn't care. And,
Nope.
All that's been exposed. If you're not familiar with all of that, just go Google it or go watch
ChatGPT, pull up the background information. Exactly.
Yes.
Because it's been going on for a long time.
And go to the doctor-patient forum. That's a great community for anyone in the chronic pain community.
Yeah.
That they're the ones that put this out. And so we're going to be watching one of their videos that just got released yesterday. And oh my God, I was so upset the whole time I watched it. I was just, oof. So believe me, we're going to be stopping a lot to talk about every bit of it, because it's a lot. But before we dive into that, so back to that People magazine, I'm trying to kind of lead up to this is all about grieving families and what they're doing to ban Kratom, and using the same playbook that PROP started.
Yep.
10 years, Twinkle? I mean, that was no.
Yeah, in fact, it was 15, 20 years.
It was longer.
Started going, yes. And
right.
In 15 and 16, it just got worse and worse, and ever since, it's just been very. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah, because it started several years before the whole.
Yes.
Getting it banned.
They were already trying to roll it along, and then it just got bigger and bigger. And then by the time 2016 and the guidelines came, they were already fully active and on board and doing all of it, and they're just doing it again. It's the same thing. It's like a parrot.
It's the same playbook. And it's all in the open now because it's been publicly talked about. And I love that Bev Scheckman from the Dr. Patient Forum put all the dots together. And oh my gosh, Amanda, I'm so glad you could join us. Good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see
everybody.
Amanda. Hey, Twinkle. It's been a while.
Hi.
How are you, hon? It's good to see your face.
Good to see you. It
good
has
to
been
see
a while. Doing good. Doing much better. Finally settled in, so it's all good.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey,
happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And we're kicking it off today with just stuff that pisses us off. So
yes,
there you go. Not surprised, are we? So the People magazine, as I was saying before, mentioned there's a documentary coming out. The guy's mom, is behind this documentary on Kratom, and so there's a trailer out now. So I'm going to play the trailer Let me show you the website, and I have links to everything we're looking at today and watching. I'll have links in the YouTube description later today. But this is where it goes to is Kratom side effects may include.com. And so, I mean, it's a full-on fancy documentary they put together. And so there's a premiere. Yeah, it's a film festival is going to premiere I think in New York later this month. But we're going to play the trailer for this because I want y'all to see what this is all about.
There's a lot of people that get into that Kratom stuff. Do you know what that stuff is?
My brother had this protein shake weight bottle, and he said it was a plant called Kratom.
It's like a plant-based, I don't know if it's technically an opiate, but it's legal.
I started cleaning the house, and I found 32 bags full of Kratom.
Matt was 22 years old, and he was always perfectly healthy.
Ethan was a great kid, super, super bright. Wyatt had everything in the world to live for and look forward to.
I'm here to tell a story of my son, Dan. He was 33 years old when he died of an overdose of Kratom.
Tonight's Health Watch, a warning about the herbal supplement called Kratom. It's blamed for addiction, seizures, and even deaths.
They said he's dead. That, just raw, beautiful talent is gone.
Dan died alone in his apartment. He bought those two little jars, 2.5 weeks before he died.
You can get it at gas stations. You can get it at the convenience store down the street. How bad can it actually be?
Pretty much do it 2 or 3 times a day.
It hit me exactly the way Oxycontin used to hit me. It makes you feel like everything's okay.
It gives you that happy, euphoria, creative feeling.
It gave me superpowers.
The drug is unregulated, going unchecked.
You can have 2 forms of Kratom, but one has 100 times the potency. And if you see it in a store next to a 5-hour energy drink, of course you think it's safe.
We are so far behind the curve with the science. It's hard to say whether it should just be eliminated.
Kratom supporters are fighting to keep the plant-based substance from being banned.
Kratom deaths are the result of greed.
It's big business, forecast to be a nearly $16 billion industry.
It has taken me months to find who actually was making some of these Kratom products.
I was looking for Peyton Palalio, who owns OPMS.
If you try to find a company called OPMS, there is no such company.
Is there any way that I could reach out to someone for a formal statement?
No. I do believe the Kratom industry is minimizing the deaths.
Trust me, if the FDA had a cluster of deaths today that they believed were Kratom only, they would have acted on it.
The one question that I get the most is it addictive? Anything that makes you feel good can be habit forming.
It's just scary what it's doing to everybody.
There's so much that needs to be done.
We've got to get ahead of this stuff. It's here. It's happening.
The outcome of this debate could have life and death consequences.
I just miss him trying to find a way to move on.
I'll never be the same. And every time I hear of another Kratom death, it just hits me all over again.
When are you supposed to call 911? When you're delusional? When you're throwing up? Or when you pass out and they left out the last one? You die.
Dramatic ending. So there you go. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, it definitely,
Let's hear it.
It definitely
no holds
breaks my
barred.
heart. It definitely breaks my heart for loss. I mean,
100%,
you know,
100%, 100%.
But one thing that I has anybody ever been able to contact OPMS, and do they really exist? That's concerning to me.
That's really
I mean, you
concerning.
should be, yes, there should be something. I mean, we need to know, that's not okay.
There's a lot going on with them though, too.
Yeah, I've heard a few things.
With who?
I'd like to hear you guys.
Mislabeled bottles, OPMS.
Oh, yeah,
the mislabeled bottles.
It's shady. It's shady. Like to have these
very.
shell companies and you can't find them, and it's like,
And they're the AKA's #1 supporter.
yeah.
So that's a little concerning because I mean, I know I was in a group chat with a bunch of other vendors, consumers, and Mac was in there, and he was asked, hey, what's going on? People had tested themselves the OPMS products, and there was high percentage of 7.0 before even we knew what 7.0 was, and this was before 2023. And they came back with high percentages, and we were told, oh, it was a mislabel on the bottle for 5 years. I don't think so. I don't think so, and they're the ones with, oh, extract, but yet they're preaching, unadulterated, but yet they're the biggest supporters
It was
of
the
the
adulterated.
extract. It's all been OPMS. I don't know if there's any plain leaf for OPMS. I've never seen plain leaf for OPMS. It's always the capsules and the shots, and they're all extracts. They're all extracts.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
When the consumers start taking a product and sending it out for themselves to be tested, that's a big red alert,
Yes,
because
it
here
is.
we are, we're trusting this list that's on this site, and we're being lied to. We're being lied to from this list. We're being lied to by OPMS, who apparently no one can find the actual owner or get a hold of anybody. That screams red flags. That one right there, that's news to me. That's the biggest one that I'm like, oh my gosh, and the cycle continues of, wow, where's this all going to?
Right. And Araya just said too that JW Ross from Feel Free, it's a whole rabbit hole. She said she did a deep dive.
Yeah.
But some of these are. And
he did that while we were live streaming recently, because she kept talking about in the comments, because something came up with them, and then she started deep diving and was like, oh my gosh, the stuff I'm finding. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about a lot of that stuff over the years here in the live stream, but there's a lot of rabbit holes with a lot of these things. And the whole OPMS came to light with the shell company, and you can't find who's really the owner, was when the Tampa Bay Times did that expose, which a lot of us Kratom supporters and advocates were not fond of that series, because it was just, very negative about Kratom. But I did find it was interesting how they went down the rabbit hole of OPMS, and it's like, why can't we find this company? Why are there all these shell companies? That's not right. That looks so
not
bad.
at all.
And we're not for that. We're not for any of this secrecy and non-transparency.
And then how many brands are piggybacking off of them with new names to them? I mean, some of this is concerning, and this doesn't even consider 7.0. Like we're all this drama over 7.0, but it's also over here going on.
Yeah, it's true, because
it's just weird. It's very disheartening.
It is. And I mean, working for a vendor, I do a lot of the customer service, and I'll get, smoke shops messaging in, oh, hey, I work for this, smoke shop or head shop or whatever it may be, and do you guys, the latest one is, do you guys provide labels for the products that you sell to wholesalers? No, because that now becomes your product. That means you do the testing, you provide the labels, you provide the lab testing, what we provide you, and you're going to, it's safe. Like, if you're going to resell it, then you need to go through all the proper avenues to properly sell the product. So it's like, oh, do you provide labels in this? No, like, absolutely no, we're not doing that, but there are some out there that unfortunately will, because they're all about the money. And that's why we need to have like the good reputable vendors, and then the ones that are just doing it shady. We need to get rid of the ones that are doing it shady, because they are making it harder for us who continue to go through reputable vendors, who these vendors are working their tails off, spending a lot of money for labs and proper, packing, labels, everything.
It's stomping on the good guy that's doing everything right, or gal, or that's doing everything right, and making the public think that everybody's doing everything wrong, and they're not. That's
because it just gets lumped
true.
into one, just like they're lumping in 7.0 with all of Kratom, and it's like, it's an alkaloid derived from the plant, and it's like, that's any extract is derived from the plant, it's not straight leaf. And that's where a lot of people are going, oh, it's Kratom, it's Kratom, it's Kratom. And it's like, no, like the Feel Free shots aren't Kratom. The OPMS shots aren't Kratom. There's product in there that is derived from Kratom, but it's not
But
all
they're not
kratom in there.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where a lot of things have gone wrong. You know, a lot of it has gone wrong. You know, the media, it's all kratom. You know, they lump it all in as one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part I think is so frustrating for us advocating for kratom. It all gets lumped together. 7-0 extracts and natural powder, and they're all different. They're all different from each other, and the media gets it wrong so much. It's incredibly frustrating, and that's why, you know, we come together to help educate, to point all this out. So,
Yeah, and it goes with all the deaths that they're saying. You know, it's like, wait, where are all these deaths coming from? You know, where's the toxicology report? Like, I don't want to see, oh, this is the death certificate. I want to see the toxicology report.
That's right.
And I mean, I went through my mother's with a fine tooth comb. I mean, I went through every little piece, and it was like a good stack like this, just of like a couple of years worth of medications and stuff. So it's like, you know, come on, like,
that's right.
You know, who's being paid off? Why are we being lied to? What, you know, to me, it's like, what is the big picture?
Because even when my nephew died a few years ago, he now he wasn't taking kratom or anything. It was listed accidental, but I was privileged to have his toxicology report, and it was very over the top poly use. But the thing is had he been taking kratom or even 7 or an extract, they would have documented that as a kratom death right now, because there's an agenda going on.
Yep.
When
Well, it's like that one with the gunshot.
He overdosed. You know, he just overdosed of everything that he took, and so my heart, I you know, most families, I'm not saying all, have lost somebody to either accidental or, you know, sort of when you're taking a lot of stuff. It's not like that wasn't accidental to me, even though it was logged as that, because he knew what he was doing.
Unfortunately,
You know
more
I mean?
families are going through that now, because it's just so many people are passing now, you know, whether it be family or friends, someone knows someone who has had some sort of an overdose, you know, with drugs, you know, and it's, you know, even street medication, you know, thinking they're getting a pill and they're not getting a pill because it's laced with fentanyl.
Well, see, and that was my.
I can't pronounce it, but it starts with an X. And I mean, I'm going to a big event on the 16th through the 18th. And I'm going with all my harm reduction. I've got Narcan. I've got test strips for both, like fentanyl, and I think it's xylitine or xylitine.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new one. You know, it kind of reminds me
like
of like a ketamine based type thing, but worse. You know,
it's like a horse tranquilizer, I think.
Yeah, it's like a big tranquilizer.
Okay.
Yeah, animal tranquilizer.
But the thing is, with all the legitimate pain patients that lost access, including many of us here, a lot of people did go to the streets because they need to take something. That's what I was going to do. Thank God I found kratom when I did. But but when I was trying to find a drug dealer, it's kind of comical looking back. My big concern was, it's probably going to kill me, because one of those is going to be laced with fentanyl at some point, sooner or later. And you're not trying to die. You're not trying to overdose. You can't help.
The whole point is
when you don't know.
trying to live. The whole point
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what these anti-kratom people just don't understand at all. The anti-opioids and the anti-kratom, they don't get it. And there's millions of us that suffer from chronic pain that are looking for alternative methods. Whether we want something more natural or different than traditional. I mean, what are these anti-kratom people going to say? Opioids are good? Go back to your opioids? Because I mean,
they say go to the pharmaceuticals, you know, or go to Suboxone, or go to this, and it's like, hi, I'm all good with my teeth rotting out at all. You know, like the medications have already done a number to my body and to my teeth, and I'm still, you know, 8 years, almost 9 years later, still trying to reverse that damage. And it's like some of it is permanent. Like you're not going to get it back.
I took the Suboxone for 3 years, the tablets for 3 years, and it absolutely did contribute to my teeth.
Yeah.
You know, and there was no warning then, because for me it was 2009, 10, 11, 12, because the following 3 years was just the Butrans patch, but it was still buprenorphine. It was just transdermal. But when I was taking and that was under pain management. That wasn't like an addiction clinic, or because it was as a, you know, the new, not new, it was out a little longer, but that was a long time ago. That's when they started pushing or replacing with Suboxone for the treatment of chronic pain,
Yep.
CRPS, whatever. I mean, that clinic, I was there for CRPS and the spinal cord stimulator, but there was no warnings, and now they're just giving it to everybody. It's like
No, that's the
literally
big thing they're giving right now for
everybody.
7-0. Like people that want to come off 7-0 instead of like
Suboxone.
Yeah, they're like, oh, just use Suboxone, but we don't know anything about 7-0, but let's just throw Suboxone or methadone at you. And it's like,
Right.
okay,
that is
and the
hard
same,
for
you're
people
going
to
to
come
still
off
have
of.
withdrawal. If you don't
Yeah.
taper yourself down, it's
That's right.
regardless of what you've got in your
Exactly.
system, there's going to be some sort of withdrawal, or, you know, you're going to feel some sort of something, you know, because you're no longer taking that product. Your body is going to feel a little bit different than what you did if you were taking that product. There's going to be some sort of, if you want to call it a withdrawal, if you want to call it a difference, you know, myself, I don't get withdrawals when I take,
I don't either.
when I don't take my product. It just, my pain is more exacerbated, and, you know, my allergies are a little bit more pronounced. And it's like the littlest things that I don't realize, like, wow, this plant really like takes away so much of my issues that I deal with. And it's like, when I don't take it, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, this really sucks.
Yeah, you
but I'm not like, I'm not withdrawing. I'm not in the bed.
Not vomiting. You're not unable to get out of bed. You're not exactly. And that's why I get upset when people say, you know, 10 milligrams of 7-0 and you'll need medical intervention. Well, that's not true for me. So when we go out, we say that this could happen to some people, keep it to some people, because it's not an absolute for all people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just not. And I appreciate everybody that works to put information out, but it's also not truthful, because it's only truthful for some, not all. So you have to always balance that. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't, it's almost like accusing somebody. If you take that, you're going to go through you're going to have to go get on Suboxone. You're going to have medical intervention right away. And that's not true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we need to watch this video that I've been hyping up all day, because it's going to take, it's a 15-minute video, but it's going to take us a long time to go through, because believe me, we're going to be stopping so much to talk about it. And I know some of y'all have seen it. I know I sent it out to Amanda I was like, oh, Amanda's not going to like this. When we were in the DM group yesterday, I was like, I was livid watching it. I was so upset. And Bev Scheckman from Dr. Patient Forum had just posted it on Twitter, and I caught it, and I'm like, what's this? And because it's related to Kratom, and it's like,
oh yeah, that thing circled so quick.
And
she went through so many chats so quickly, and then like everybody's face was just, you know, angry reaction, and they're like, what the heck?
Yeah. And she was very much on point. I mean,
she's
great.
Oh my God, she did an amazing
I love
job.
them both. Yeah,
I've never heard of her before, so this, I was like, oh, who is this? I'm like, oh, I really like her. Gave her a follow. I'm like, let me listen in. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, let me show you all the what before we, because this will help kind of piece it all together. So it's Dr. Patient Forum, and this is hands down the best community support group and resources available for anybody in the chronic pain community, whether you still have access to your meds or you don't. This is, I wish there, I don't know when they started. I don't think they had started when I lost my access to pain management, but Twinkle, do you know when they started Dr. Patient Forum? What year? Or maybe they had already.
I think it was 17. Claudia's been here since 17. Her and Bev met pretty much right away. I think Bev was, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think Bev was in the hospital from an acute flare from like Crohn's or illness. And then she contacted Claudia, and then they teamed up. And I think they've been together since late 17 or 18. I could be a little bit off, but it's somewhere in that window.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this for a good amount of time, both of them.
When I lost access to pain management in early 2019, man, I wish I had found Claudia and Bev, because they provide so much information for people who are having trouble accessing their meds. They help advocate. They will participate in calls and help people get through all of this with their doctors. They've got,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but Claudia's book, I believe, was out prior to, like, her book. She was already an author, but like coming onto the pain community as a whole, I believe that part was 17, but her book was prior to that. Would have been, I think I might be off a year. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no,
I
it's
just
okay.
know that she was already doing, you know, authoring and doing work prior to actually, getting big and becoming a super advocate.
Yeah, they're
And she,
amazing advocates. They're on all the social media. Claudia is huge on TikTok. She has lots of great, and then Bev does a lot of Twitter and YouTube. So they kind of divide up all the work, and they're just these tireless advocates helping people. And while they're not, I know Claudia is always saying she's not a Kratom consumer, but she goes and advocates. And she lives in Rhode Island, and Rhode Island was a banned state, and the ban just got lifted. But she would go to the state capitol and testify and tell them, I don't personally take Kratom, but it's helping people in my community. I see what it does for people in my community, and I support this. And over the years
and I
here,
appreciate that. Yeah,
absolutely. We played the videos when she's testified in the past. So it's the drpatientforum.com. I definitely recommend those that are looking for a support group in the pain community to go check out their website. But what we're going to watch is a video that Bev Scheckman put out yesterday on their social media. And it's about Kratom and the chronic pain community. And, some people may have heard of that anti-Kratom organization called KDA, Kratom Danger Awareness. The lady that started it went on a podcast a few months ago and said some interesting information out loud. And Bev Scheckman put all the dots together, and that's what her video is about. She plays parts of this podcast episode where you clearly hear the things that have come to light that I don't think she realized that, she didn't mean to say out loud. But the thing is, she said it out loud multiple times, as you will see in this video.
It's like, thanks for the info.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I've always wondered, and now we know the proof. And if anybody missed my intro, I kind of talked about this at the start of the live stream a little over an hour ago. Be sure to check the replay because I had like a whole little monologue I gave. Although I could read it again. I mean, maybe I should read it again, right? Because some of y'all weren't here right when we started. So yeah, I think I'll glad you're back, Venus. I think I'll read my monologue again because it really sets the tone for this. So those that were here from the start of our live stream, you already saw this. But let me go ahead and read this because this is really good. It frames what we're getting ready to watch. So today we're going to talk about a familiar playbook that many of us have already lived through. It's now on the record. It's not a rumor. It's not speculation. It's about statements made publicly in someone's own words that connect some very important dots. And this person is Wendy Chamberlain, head of KDA. She's the one that started KDA, Kratom Danger Awareness. What's come to light is a connection that matters because of who is involved and what history tells us about how this usually plays out. We pain patients lost access to legitimate pain management and were told it was necessary for public health. We were told the harm was unintended. We were told it was the cost of doing the right thing. Now we're hearing familiar language again. Talk of education shaping policy, litigation being discussed before outcomes are measured. A narrative forming that leaves out the people who will be most affected, and that's us. We're going to talk about why the involvement of the same expert voices matter. That's going to be Dr. Andrew Kolodny from PROP, the Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing. Google him if you don't know who he is. So we're going to hear about the involvement of him and these voices, these expert voices, and why pain patients keep getting erased from these conversations and why Kratom consumers may be heading down that same kind of collateral damage that we already saw with opioids. And let me be clear, grief is real, loss is real, but grief does not justify collateral damage. And that's why I think so many of us are fired up about this. This matters because this isn't just about Kratom bans. It's about who controls the narrative and gets sacrificed when policy is driven by ideology, and litigation strategy instead of lived experience. And that's why I do the podcast and why I do this live stream, so that we could talk about lived experience, because people need to know about what we all have been through. So pain patients were never asked, and now Kratom consumers are not being asked. We've seen this playbook before, and that's why we're going to talk about it today. So now is the time for us to watch this video. Anytime, I'm sure I'm going to stop a lot so we can talk about it. But y'all, if there's something you want me to just say, just yell out. I'll stop it so we can talk. But here's Bev Scheckman. They have a great YouTube channel. That's where she has us on YouTube and X. Be sure to go to Doctor Patient Forum. So let's watch this. If you've not seen it yet, you're going to get really pissed off. But we got to bring this to light, and we got to keep this discussion going for a long time. So here we go.
Something happened that made me know for a fact that this wasn't just a familiar feeling, that I wasn't just thinking, maybe there's going to be litigation. A Kratom advocate named Misty, she texted me a while ago and she was like, you have to listen to this podcast with Wendy. The podcast she sent me was a Fed Up podcast. And this is an organization that Kolodny has been involved with. And so I figured the same talking points would be coming, right? The same warnings, the same concern-based framing. But then I heard it. Wendy Chamberlain mentions Andrew Kolodny, not in passing, but as someone she worked with closely. And in that moment, in that very moment, everything else came into focus. Because up until then, I had just suspected that Kolodny was somehow involved in this Kratom narrative. That wasn't really hard to believe. He's involved everywhere. But this podcast, this episode confirmed something deeper. Now, is it proof that he's being paid as an expert? No. But it is proof that he's involved, and involved at multiple levels. I think I counted 5 separate references in this one short, 30-minute podcast that she mentioned working with Andrew. This wasn't just messaging. This isn't just public health framing. It's the same names, the same experts, the same system. So this isn't coincidence. This isn't random. The same people are showing up in the same places, pushing the same story at the same time. So now that I just gave you that brief introduction to Wendy, let's talk about who she is, okay? She's the public face of KDA. This is a parents group called Kratom Danger Awareness. It presents itself as a parent-led advocacy organization, a group formed to protect parents, protect families, that they're like this moral voice warning about the dangers of Kratom. I want to be very clear here. I am not attacking Wendy herself. She lost her son, and that's devastating. I can't imagine having to go through that. I don't think I could breathe again if I did. No parent should ever have to experience losing a child. But once that grief enters the public arena, it stops being personal and it starts being political. It becomes persuasive and often quite useful for things like lawyers. Because KDA, Kratom Danger Awareness, is not just a support group. It's not just awareness. It operates inside the same well-oiled machine I've been discussing here all along. So we've already outlined the litigation narratives, how media amplifies it, how experts validate it, how strategic framework is created ahead of legal action. But now I want you to listen to Wendy Chamberlain, head of KDA, introduce herself on this Courage to Hope podcast.
I'm the founder and chair of Kratom Danger Awareness, Inc. But most importantly, I'm the mom of Joseph S. Lambrazo. He was my only child and the father of three amazing boys. He died August 30th of 2020 at 38. He started consuming Kratom, I want to say somewhere around 2017, maybe for about 2.5 years, for energy. He owned his own business. He owned a plumbing and septic business. And a friend of his told him it was safer than drinking Red Bull, those energy drinks. So he started.
So that's how she introduces herself. And that introduction matters because Wendy isn't positioning herself as like a lobbyist or an expert or a policy professional. She's positioning herself as a mother. And that framing carries an enormous amount of moral weight. And I'm going to explain this all in a minute.
So the reason why we found you is that we have a doctor. I'm a part of a company called Fed Up, and Dr. Kolodny, who is one of.
She's talking about Andrew Collage.
Let me stop real quick. So Fed Up, I imagine Twinkle, you could, I'm sure this is your area of expertise. Tell us what Fed Up is.
Well, Fed Up was well, they're anti-opioids, and I think they even did some not podcasts, film on it, but my mind is going blank. But it is a whole part of the.
They do like rallies, right? It's like
Right,
rallies.
the whole anti-opioid, exactly, rallies and public, you know, throwing out public information and all that. And then they also, well, that's why they're getting together right there, so that she could get on board with him and they could get on board, and then also with Andrew Kolodny.
Yeah, so they have, you know, this is called Fed Up. It's feduprally.org. And it says Fed Up, a coalition to end the opioid epidemic. So
yeah, and then go around to different establishments and basically, you know, I mean, opioids are safe. We all know that they're safe. They're no longer safe when they're being abused and they're overtaken. And then, you know, maybe somebody will acquire a dependency, and then maybe that dependency will turn into an addiction. And if a doctor gives you 30 days of medicine and you've taken it in 5 days, you can't do that, you know, or call your pharmacist and say, I'm out, or tell tell your doctor you're out of the medicine. You're just going to get labeled because you weren't supposed to do that in the first place. You know, we have to learn. I know that people are in pain, and we are in pain, and maybe sometimes it's not sufficient, but we still have to keep ourselves on schedule. And if there's a day that you need to take an extra, you need to compensate for it, and on your another day not take the amount that you're allotted, because you still have to stay safe within your 30 days. You ain't gonna get them anymore, and then you burn your bridge for your pain care.
well, this says our vision, a world where opioids are prescribed cautiously.
Right.
Not everybody got addicted. Most people didn't. Everybody was addicted. This affected so many of us. We were never addicted.
My husband was in the hospital for a week from the complications of diabetes. His foot looks like it's rotting off. It's bone to bone in areas. He was sent home with 0 pain medication. They said, take Tylenol. Now at his appointment yesterday, she is going to prescribe him a few low-dose hydrocodone, thankfully, but that script was put in yesterday, and the pharmacy said it won't be ready until Monday, and probably on Monday it won't be until Tuesday. And then we've never had issues with addiction, but the world says you all have a problem with addiction, and you're just an addict, and that's not okay. This isn't subjective. His foot is not subjective. Our conditions are not subjective either, because we have imaging, we have blood work, we have all that is objective. There is a reason why we're in pain, or we are suffering, or we're, you know, trying to cope through it all. His foot looks, I sent it to Venus and Chris, Madeline, I don't know if I forwarded it to you, but it's something anybody would need a pain pill for.
Definitely.
You know, but you know, even in that acute situation, no. And he's been out 2 weeks. I did that whole house over there because he wasn't able to do it. We left half of our life behind. I'm okay with it because we're here now, but they don't get it, and they don't care. And then we have these rallies.
It's true.
Yes. And then we have these rallies and these people getting together that are just flat out no opioids.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few girlfriends of mine who have gone through cesarean sections. And I mean, that's nothing, you know, that's no walk in the park. Like that's like you're going through muscle, everything, and they're sent home with ibuprofen. Like, excuse me, you know, I did dental for 2 years, and they're handing out prescriptions for like, you know, 4 pills of pain pills. And these people have had a full mouth extraction. I know what it feels like to have one tooth taken out. You have a full mouth, like, it's barbaric the way that they treat people.
Yeah, and 10,
but that's how they're
ago,
treating pain.
All mine were taken out with nothing, no pain medicine at all, because the Suboxone ruined my top. I've been able to save my bottoms, thank God, but they're not. You know, I'm not going through any procedure, and I'm not going through the spinal surgery that I was supposed to need. Nothing unless I 2 weeks of pain medicine, if not a month, and then reassess. It's okay. I don't care about being reassessed every week or something like that.
Right.
But I absolutely am not going under any surgery or the spinal cord stimulator removed because it's in me broken without pain medication.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it. I mean, would
Yeah.
I still be thankful for Kratom or 7-0 if it was here? Absolutely, but not in that first week.
No.
When your skin is raw and still
Yeah.
bleeding and leaking and full of staples, and they've got no, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Absolutely not. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And for me, it worked for my surgery, after my surgery, and I'm just so glad it did. But before I found Kratom and had to have surgeries, for me, I took all my pain meds before because they didn't work, and I was in so much pain. And then I figured, well, I'll run out, and by the time I get my next prescription, I should feel fine. The withdrawals should be gone. But they weren't withdrawals. It was my pain. So it was a constant thinking I was just crazy,
I'm so glad Kratom eased you.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the other medicine didn't. And that's okay. The thing is if we don't need, if we're not struggling with addiction and we don't need that pain pill, like we're good enough that the Tylenol does work, well, we don't take our pain pill. We save it for an emergency or put it in our cupboard and have it as backup. That's what the doctors used to do. They would give you a few extra, or, I'm not talking about pain management. I'm talking about way back in the day, when I was in my 20s or something.
Right.
Instead
Like a
of
tubal ligation
prescribing
or
them,
something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you just kept them, and they did it for that reason, to keep you out of the ER. All that's gone.
Oh,
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, but that's for responsible and accountable people. Nowadays, nobody's responsible and accountable. No, we just make excuses for everybody.
Right.
Right. But when you got, these doctors and policymakers dictating all of this stuff and making decisions for all of us, it's just wrong. Prop did that with Colodny, with, making it to the point that a lot of us can't get our opiates anymore for real pain issues.
That's right. Right.
Right.
And there was, like I've said in my little monologue, like, they didn't ask us. I was never asked if it was okay for them to do this.
No.
They took away my pain. I never got in trouble. I never had an issue. I never overused. The doctor, my pain management doctor, who I went to for 9 years, he told me once, he goes, "You're a model patient." He goes, "I wish all my patients were like you. You follow the rules, you do everything right, you still work, you do all the things." And it's like, yeah, that's why I take these, because I want to still be a functional human and I want to be able to work and do stuff. And, I'm proud of the fact that this month is 30 years I've been self-employed doing what I want to do in the digital marketing space. And when I started getting this chronic pain 20 years ago, I would not have been able to continue on with that if it wasn't for the opiates and pain management that I put off for as long as I could. But once I started that, I did that for 9 years, and it helped me. It allowed me to keep working and do things that I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to be in such pain that I had to just give in and just live on the couch and not be a productive member of society. And then I lose access without any input. I didn't get to have a say in it. I actually got a form letter in the mail letting me know, because the doctors are scared to prescribe, and no one should ever go through that. And luckily I found Kratom very quickly after that.
And the thing is if we don't want to take an opioid that a doctor is prescribing us, we have every opportunity to say no thank you.
100%.
We have the opportunity in the doctor's office when they're getting ready to write it or press the button to send it. We have the opportunity to not pick it up from the pharmacy at all. And then we have other opportunities, and when it gets home and in our cabinet, to not take it back to the pharmacy and dispose of it. There are other opportunities. So I also don't believe the part where, well, maybe for a few people out there might have been a little extra push. Whereas, in other words, refilled without an assessment to say, do you really need this anymore? But I think that for most people, we could just say, no, I don't want that. And there are some people that might not have known to speak up for themselves, or were just so used to it that they just kept receiving it, and then they got into, an issue. They kept taking it. So there are some people. I never like to give absolutes with every, because there's always an
And there were bad
exception.
doctors. There were bad
And there are
doctors.
bad doctors.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Writing
there-
scripts they shouldn't have
that's
been
right.
doing because they wanted the money. They wanted it. There were bad things all around, but there were way more of us legitimate chronic pain patients
Mm-hmm.
that were caught in the middle of this.
Yes.
That lost access, or a lot of people that got reduced access and are miserable, and people are killing themselves or going to the streets to get.
They didn't even taper me. That day that I got fired, and I still have the fire letter. So if anybody ever asks me, we want to see if you did something wrong, I would just love to put it out over and over, right? Because all it does is say patient physician breakdown as the reason for the fire. I didn't do anything wrong. Was in full compliance. I never failed a drug test. Just nothing. I mean, I nominated that doctor for an award like 3 months before. Like I thought everything was fine until it wasn't.
Right.
And then his PA fired me while he was on vacation, and that was it. But his business was also, the sale was finalized within months, and it was already in the process. But I was cold turkey off of every single medication, anti-seizure medications. The low dose at that time was a Butrans patch, just all, Cymbalta, gabapentin, Zonegran, all these things. Just boom, done. No taper. And I lost my mind. I had a nervous breakdown. I was in so much pain. I've already told you guys, I tried to kill myself a few times, and that's something I've grown enough. I will not. These are helping me. Kratom has made that difference for me.
Yeah.
7-0 has made some difference for me, but I have to be responsible with what I drink, what I take, what I let dissolve in my mouth, and that's it. That's on me. That's not on any establishment selling
Everybody.
something.
Everybody.
Amen on that one.
Yeah.
I was there too. I've been in your shoes, like going, what am I going to do? Why do I want to live like this for the rest of my life? I can't get my pain meds. I can't get this. And then that's when I was like, searching for other alternatives. It scares the ever loving out of me. If I don't have Kratom or my 7-0,
how are you going to take care of your
what am I
babies?
going to do? Like, I'm back to bed. I'm back to not having a life. I'm back to literally being the most depressed shell that I was. And I'm already going through depression. Like, my pain is valid, especially in the wintertime. It gets a lot worse for me here in the cold. A lot of people get like the heat exacerbates theirs. Me, no, like send me to the dry heat and I'm in a lot less pain. Like go to Texas. Anytime I go to Texas, I'm like, oh, thank God. And it's wonderful. But no, like I remember like the thoughts of wanting to literally check out and take a dirt nap. Like I was done with the pain. Why do I want to be forced to live like this for the rest of my life? Now I can manage it. I'm terrified. If they take Kratom away, what's going to happen?
What are we going to do?
Amanda's going to get it any way Amanda can get it, because I'm not going back to the pills because I can't. They cannot properly treat me. And those are words from my doctor when, years ago, that's like, we have to stop prescribing as much as we're doing. My doctor said like, hey, I can't properly treat you. Shakes his head. Yes, I can't tell you to keep taking what you're taking, but if it's working, I am proud of you and your results are fantastic. So my doctor is all game with plant medicine. My therapist is game with plant medicine.
I'm so glad for you.
Oh my God. And I followed my therapist. She's not even in a paid practice anymore. And I pay out of pocket. Being on disability, I don't have much money, but I pay out of pocket for her because she gets it. She's not going to throw meds at me because, I'm depressed today. Oh, well, here, let's have 50 pills thrown at you. And then like 50 side effects, so. I'm grateful for the plant. I'm grateful for this community. And now I'm really grateful for my loud mouth because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. It's not going to happen. I will fight until my very last breath. And I didn't have a voice a couple of weeks ago and Madeline wanted me to jump on. I'm like, I have no voice. I couldn't even squeak, but I will literally fight until my last breath, not only for myself, but every single one of us to have this plant. You know, I mean, I
Thank
go to
you. I
so many
appreciate you
meetings
all.
and
Nice.
people are like, oh, you know, I don't see you advocating. And I'm just like, well, where are you? Because I've been at meetings and I've been, you know, showing up. Like Venus and I are we're on a lot of like Zoom calls or, you know, phone calls in many different states. And it's like her and I are all, you know, she's my right hand woman when it's going on. Cause she always, oh, hey, you're about ready to be on. You're on after me. And I love it. Cause usually I'm either, you know, babysitting the little 1.5-year-old that I get to watch every so often, which I wouldn't be able to do without Kratom. Or, you know, it's like I'm, you know, advocating in another freaking Zoom call or another thing, you know, because there was 3 of them in one day. And I was on one on a phone call going to one in New Hampshire. I was on a phone call with Venus going on to another one. She's on. So I would leave one, go back to the other. It was chaotic.
Well,
but I'm
and a
gonna
lot
fight,
of times
you know?
people like to accuse and say that somebody's not doing it. Some of what I do is in the background. Nobody's ever going to see it. I'm still shooting out the letters. I'm still contacting, and not just for, for the chronic pain side of it that is specific to chronic pain. Just because I'm not putting it out or posting and tooting my own horn or doing whatever, I'm not trying to.
You don't have to.
Or like we're not in the same group chats, you know. I notice a lot of that. We're not in the same group chat, so I don't see you guys advocating. Well, it's like, okay, but
we don't have to answer
I'm behind,
anymore.
I didn't know I needed a time clock to say Amanda checked in
Right.
and advocated and
Right.
posted this or shared this. Like, you
We're
know,
not
like we're all
answering
here
anyone.
fighting the good fight. Stop fighting against each other and just fight the plant.
Exactly.
That would be like giving a homeless person a sandwich and having to video record what you've done for them just so you could put it on the internet.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't like, I mean, just because somebody doesn't see something doesn't mean it's not occurring. I hope to get to the place again where I could advocate like I did before in my career and with the International Pain Foundation and all that. But I'm trying. I mean, hopefully I can get there. So it's not comparable to somebody else's necessarily, but it doesn't mean I'm not doing anything.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't answer to anybody. We're all voluntarily volunteering our time to advocate, and we all do it in different ways. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And there
none
are
of us
so
are
many
getting paid
ways.
for it. That's the big thing is
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
you're getting paid for it. You're getting paid by, you know, Seven Hope or Heart. No, my just big mouth is out here advocating because I believe in all alkaloids of this plant. Every single alkaloid in this plant has a benefit for people, you know, like no one's dying of it. Like, let's stop the miscommunication and the lies that's getting spread out there. And let's just, you know, put properly safe, you know, consumption or, you know, properly labeling. Let's go back to holding vendors accountable versus trying to end everything for everyone. No, let's hold the vendors accountable. Get the ones that aren't properly, you know, still in their homes, you know, or sheds or whatever they're doing. You know, if they're not GMP compliant and properly going through all of those, get out. I ain't got time for you. I don't care if you're cheaper. I don't want cheaper. My cost cheaper, it doesn't matter. Yeah, could it be cheaper? Great. I would love cheaper, but there's
I would
no
rather
cost on
spend
my
another
health.
$10 or $20 and know that it is absolutely safe. Well, we all want a deal, of course. We're all, nobody's super well off, you know, but if it meant the compliance and the third-party testing and we keep with a reliable source, and we're absolutely, I mean, so I save my piggy bank for an extra 2 weeks. I'm still good. You know, it's still worth it to me.
Right.
For the relief.
And the merchants that are having it in their stores, whether it's a smoke shop, convenience store, or a Kratom store, you know, they should know what they're selling too.
That's a huge. I mean, I went in to go grab a vape from my friend Mike last night, and you know, I was down at the Kava Kratom. You know, I was down at the Kava bar, and it's a sober bar, and I'm there a lot. You know, I'm sure you guys are all on my page. You guys have seen the videos, but you know, I went to go grab just a vape for him really quick because he was doing some music, and they have Kratom in there. And every time I go in, I kind of just like peer around and see what they got, and I'll ask questions, and they don't have any damn clue what they're selling. And it's like, oh, well, this one, you know, this one's for energy. No, it ain't. Do you even know what it is? Like, do you even know what this is? Do you know what strain? Like, do you even know if like it's a red base? Do you know? Like, nothing. They know nothing, and it's like
they're just a
properly
salesperson.
educated.
Yeah.
Get a pamphlet. Read the pamphlet. You're going to have more education reading a pamphlet than what these people don't have right now in these smoke shops that are selling it.
And
you know?
I would love that the people that would sell it, even if it remained in the smoke shop, like if they could have a quick sheet to be able to refer to if a I was
Yeah.
going to say a person or a patient had a question, they would be able to answer it for them, even if it was just a few pages or with a quick reference on top. And they had
Mitrospec
a
has
little
one.
That's
Mitrospec has
excellent.
one. I
That's
got one
excellent.
from my last package with them, and I loved it because it's just a simple basic breakdown. You know, it's just the simple basics, but the simple basics really, I know for
Are
myself when I
everything.
first started, was such a huge foundation to kind of set my precedence of, let me try this versus this, you know, let me see, you know, this versus this, and let me start small, because a lot of people do come in going, I have a high tolerance. Well, this isn't, this isn't pain meds. This isn't street drugs. This is a whole different avenue, and less is more, and it's like, start low and then go, and a lot of people don't just have
Start
the
low and then
basics.
go. That's perfect.
Yep.
Yep.
I love that pamphlet Mitrospec does. It's
I
good.
love it too. It's great. I've been showing it to quite a few people. I have it with me in my car because I have Kratom with me wherever I go. Always. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I've got Kratom with me. I've got 7-0 with me.
Yep.
I used to hand it out,
Me too.
up in Manchester and Nashua, like a couple of years ago. All places around me were like the top 5 places in the United States that were going through overdose. Thankfully, those are all down, and we're not even on that list, like in the top 10 right now. And that's huge. But I would go out and hand out Kratom left and right. Now I just can't afford to do that anymore, and it's like, it sucks because I want to be able to go out and help people. But I also know that, people are now becoming aware of what's going on, because it is in smoke shops, but still, they're taking it and they're having to learn a lot on their own versus, something just being right there and saying, hey, this is the basics, and don't overuse. Start small, don't abuse it. It's not medication. It's not this, it's a plant. And, this is different. And if we had those basics set in place, I think a lot more people would have a little bit more knowledge on the product than what they do.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get back to the video because we still have a lot more to watch. I knew we would. Oh, absolutely. And shout out to all the people watching on X. Christopher from Christopher Organic Botanicals has this out on his YouTube and X in addition to our Kratom Real Talk YouTube. So thank you to Christopher for putting it. So yeah, a lot of people are watching over on X today. And for those, and we appreciate all those that are here live and those watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that share and subscribe and let people know that we're here. Because, we just recently lost our YouTube channel. This is a brand new one. Not everybody knows we're here. So help us spread the word. Okay, so we're going to get back to the video. For those that just got here more recently, we're watching a video from Bev Scheckman with Doctor Patient Forum with an wild revelation that she shared yesterday, connecting the dots between Dr. Andrew Kolodny, who is the president of PROP, Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing. Him and his group is the reason why many of us lost access to pain management. I lost access in 2019. They got the government to do all kinds of restriction on opioids because they just think everybody's addicted and none of us are responsible and we deserve to live in pain. So this conversation we're going back to is connecting the dots that he is working with the KDA, Kratom Danger Awareness Group, who's been trying very hard for years to ban Kratom everywhere. So let's get back to it. We haven't watched that much, so if anybody just got here, we're about 5 minutes into this, but it's a 15-minute video, so let's get back to it. So what we just, I'll back up a little bit. What we had saw was the first time in this podcast that we're listening to that Bev is playing with KDA president, is that she mentions it multiple times, but we stopped right when she mentioned Kolodny's name. So let's get back into it.
Of moral weight. And I'm going to explain this all in a minute.
So the reason why we found you is that we have a doctor that I'm a part of a company called Fed Up, and Dr. Kolodny, who is one of
He's talking about Andrew Kolodny, clearly
one of our chief executives at Fed Up. He's also a psychiatrist, and he works actually out of Brandeis University in Massachusetts. He stated that he's getting a massive amount of people coming in saying they're addicted to Kratom. And I actually had not even heard of it.
So that's the first time they talk about Andrew Kalani, very beginning of the podcast. He's not just mentioned as like this distant public health figure. He's being named as the connector, the reason why Wendy is there, the reason their conversation is happening. And it doesn't stop there.
What 8 states have banned it so far?
Connecticut will be next, and that'll be our 7th.
So you got 40 plus states to go.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
and I've been doing this for 5 years, and I did, I did get a chance to talk to Andrew. I sent him some information over the weekend. I really can't say what we sent him because it's something we did as the board, as our board. But I sent him some information that he wanted to look over, and I'm just waiting to hear back from him because he's definitely interested in helping.
And the next time we have an RX summit, which is going to be in Nashville
Mhm.
in next April,
Mhm.
he will probably speak about it in one of his seminars. And that's what this drug needs to have, is a lot more awareness.
Absolutely. He said he was going to talk to his the doctors, the addiction doctors that he knows, and maybe write up something where I could basically speak at.
Has anybody tried to sue the manufacturer?
There's many lawsuits out there. I have a pending lawsuit myself. There's several, and I mean several.
How was the lawsuit written?
I wish I had my sons in front of me. They'll sue the manufacturer, the vendor, the store owner. Some lawsuits even list the American Kratom Association in the lawsuit.
In other words, the same thing they've done with opioids.
Lawsuit.
Well, it's misleading and false advertising.
Yes, in the
So this isn't speculation on my part. This isn't me thinking that she's working with Kalani. This is Wendy on the record describing a very active working relationship. She's sending Andy information behind closed doors, and he's opening doors for her. And notice how litigation enters this conversation here, right? Where it's almost floated as a casual question, like, hey, are there any lawsuits there? Like, it's the next logical step. Because by this point, this plan, this machine is already in place.
I mean, the reason why I started the show, Courage to Hope, was because my son's death, and I wanted people to be aware of the dangers of opioids. And now we're going to talk about the dangers of Kratom going forward, and those that can't get heroin anymore or oxys. Some of them have gone into Kratom.
Notice that framing. Notice how he's not saying, oh, well, people couldn't get access to opioids anymore when they were using it for pain, and now they're accessing Kratom because they can't get opioids anymore. Notice they erase any of that. When the fact of the matter is the vast majority of the people who were using opioids from a doctor were not addicted. And the vast majority of people who are using Kratom are not addicted like they want it to be. But they don't frame it that way. They don't frame it that people can't get opioids for pain, and so now they're turning to Kratom. They frame it as opioids were the problem. We already took care of that, and now Kratom becomes the next problem. It's the same sequence we've already seen. Here we go.
I got to stop it because, man, that right there pissed me off so bad when I saw this for the first time yesterday.
That's like the terms of the gas station heroin. That kind of fits that narrative that they're pointing right there. And it's like,
exactly. It's like, we're not done. So these people went from opioids and they're all addicted to now Kratom and they're all addicted. Well, not everybody. There's vast
that's right.
numbers, I would say majority, not addicted to either or.
I think their biggest issue
there's
is
a lot of us that are
taking them away from pharma. Yeah, right. Yep. And we're not dependent on pharma, and that's what they.
And I don't have any problem being dependent whatsoever.
Me neither. Me neither.
People, and if
We all were.
Right.
And we didn't ask to leave it. We were forced out because of Kalani and his group.
If they want to call us and say addiction or addicts, I'm fine with that too, because I'm not out lying, stealing, and trifling to get either one of them, not 7 or Kratom. Therefore, I don't have any problem at all. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be like,
I
we're
agree.
always in other people's business and calling people.
They just want to label us.
Yes,
Well,
that's exactly
well,
it.
and Wendy calls us all addicts. As we
Right.
Kratom advocates are addicts in her eyes. We're all addicts. We're all addicted. She says it in that podcast. I did go back and listen to it because it was a longer podcast. I mean, this is just Bev playing the clips of connecting the dots, which she did a phenomenal job of. Definitely kudos to her.
If you're not lying to your mama or stealing something out of her house or your daddy or anybody else or your friend, or you're not robbing a store in order to get what you're addicted to, then it's only dependency, and you need it to survive. You're using it to survive or be in less pain, and even if somebody is using it because they need to cope or get through a day, so as long as
Right.
you're not being criminal and you're not doing anything wrong,
That's the word
makes
right
no
there. As
sense
long
to
as you're
me.
not doing anything criminal, but yet, quick Google search on lovely Wendy Chamberlain, and what pops up with her? Some arson in 2024.
Criminal. Right.
That's criminal.
Oh, right.
Yes, her
At convenience
arson in
store.
2024.
At
Come
convenience
on
store.
now.
Wasn't that a
Yeah.
convenience store
Yeah.
selling Kratom or something?
Yeah. So really, wow.
But wasn't there something before that though?
Oh,
too?
she's got, I think she had like drunk driving at one point or something like that. I mean, don't quote me. I mean, I was trying to search some stuff really quick because I remember there was the arson and I was like, I wanted to make sure that was exactly her. It was.
We all have a digital footprint. It can
And
all
look
be
at
looked
this.
up.
I take Kratom, and I have never once in my life ever been in trouble with the law.
Exactly.
Ever, for anything. I have clean record, clean everything. The only thing I ever did that wasn't nice was get the cuckoo house for a minute because I was mentally
But look at
ill
the situation
from
you were put
pain.
in. I mean,
But
you were
from pain. It was from pain.
Right.
Relief
Yeah.
pain. Withdraw from the pain relief, and boom, that's and really I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm just saying, if somebody wanted to say anything, that's it. That's all that happened. I wasn't arrested. I was nothing like that. I just got held for
right.
hurting myself.
Yeah.
But even putting that new label on them, like when they take away your medicine and you go through the withdrawals, well, I can't remember what it's those 3 letters over the, I can't remember, but another label, when the only thing that I can see that it's from is from stopping medications that you were taking for a while, so it's going to happen. But they make it sound like the only reason that you get those symptoms is because you've been addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have all kinds of opioid induced hyperalgesia. They have all these.
Opiate use disorder.
Yeah,
that was it.
Opiate use disorder. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the videos. We still got a lot more, but this is so interesting for sure.
Education is very, very important. I did not know what Kratom was until it killed my son. And we are about education, and we got some things we're working on as the board members. And I did talk to Andrew about it. And I'll talk to you, when we're not online about it at some point, what we're doing, because we can't. When I told Andrew, I said, we're a fairly new nonprofit. We have zero money. So we're working, trying to come up with fundraising and whatnot. But it's hard. It's a lot of work.
So this part here matters where she's mentioning education, right? This isn't just about information she's handing out. What she's actually talking about is shaping perception and preparing the ground and laying the groundwork for litigation itself. And this is where the litigation narratives are quietly beginning.
I hope you stick to it. I know it's going to be a tough struggle because I know what it's like dealing with state legislators. It takes forever to get through these to the state of Massachusetts to get anything approved takes usually 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, Andrew said he would help me kind of in that department, meet people, and because I don't really have any connections other than senators I've talked to in other states to help them ban Kratom. But I want to say that Joseph's story didn't end the day he died. It now fuels a nationwide movement to protect others. Hope becomes action, and action saves lives.
So that language, hope becomes action, is not accidental. This is language that causes movement. And we've seen exactly where that road leads, which brings us to the precedent set by Fed Up Rally. But before I show you this clip, I want to say this. Do you think Andrew Kolodny all of a sudden out of nowhere is just helping Wendy out of the goodness of his heart, how he's just adding to his presentation he's been doing for well over a decade? He's adding Kratom to it because he sees this as a new issue, that all of a sudden he wants to help this parent group talk about the possible harms and how to help legislation and how to get her into RX Heroin Summit and all of that. He's not doing it for that. He's not. So to show you why I have this opinion, I'm going to show you this next clip from Fed Up Rally. Again, Fed Up Rally was created by Judy Rumler. Her son died of a heroin overdose. He had a severe, painful condition, and she says he became addicted to opioids. They made him go into treatment, and he came out and for the first time ever bought heroin, probably was in severe pain, and died. So I'm going to play this clip. They do these protests, these rallies, and this is from, I think, the second one that they ever had. 2014, I believe this was.
Now I have the very distinct pleasure of introducing the inspiration and action that made this happen, and it's Dr. Andrew Kolodny. Dr. Kolodny is on our steering committee. He's the one who called me about a year and a half ago, and asked me if I would be interested in setting up a rally. And he's the one who's guided us through all of the decision making for the rally and for the coalition. And he's chief medical officer at Phoenix House, and he was just retired as president of Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing, PROP. So it is great pleasure that I introduce my dear friend, Dr. Andrew Kolodny.
Fed Up Rally, this parent organization, did not emerge spontaneously, organically. It was initiated, guided, and structured by Andrew himself. Parents were centered, where experts were elevated, and patient voices were sidelined, and they made sure of it. I mean, she even said at the beginning that in a very early interview that she knows her work will harm chronic pain patients, but she's going to do it anyway. And the result was policy that absolutely devastated pain patients. I mean, she was right. Policy that ignored predictable harm that she predicted herself, and policy that treated suffering as acceptable collateral damage. This is the part that enrages me. Who do you think you are to say any group of patient is acceptable collateral damage or a trade-off? No, you don't get to dictate people sacrifice themselves as an individual for the good of the whole. I don't agree with that. So when Wendy Chamberlain, the public face of Kratom danger awareness, describes working with Andrew Kolodny, being guided towards speaking platforms and connected to donors and legislators and figuring out funding and being positioned inside an education to action framework, this is no longer subtle. This is the very same machine operating again that I have been studying and researching since 2017. And this isn't about Wendy's intentions. It's about outcomes. Because while KDA, Kratom Danger Awareness, presents itself as protecting families, it has also publicly attacked pain patients and pain patient advocacy organizations like ours on their own website. They call us dangerous. They frame us as obstacles. And we've been framed before by these experts as obstacles. We're portrayed as morally suspect for saying something very, very basic, that removing Kratom is going to harm people who are already harmed by opioid policy. This is not extremism. This is actual reality. And this is where the parallel to Fed Up becomes impossible to ignore. So the same expert, Andrew Kolodny, who helped form Fed Up after serving as an expert witness, God only knows how many times, now appears again, connected to Wendy, the head of KDA, of another parent group. I mean, you can decide for yourself whether you think it's coincidence, because I certainly do not. So if you've made it this far, you already know that we dig deeper than just the headlines. And if you're tired of trying to decode this upside down mess on your own, you don't have to. That's exactly what we do every day over on our Patreon page. We post daily updates, usually all throughout the day. But more importantly, we break them down. We give context, analysis, and tools you can actually use. We monitor the lawsuits, the guidelines, the anti-opioid narrative, the studies, the propaganda, all of it. So you don't have to spend every waking hour trying to figure out what's true and what's weaponized. And just so you know, we don't take grants or industry funding, and that means we can stay independent, uncensored, and focused on the people being harmed, not the people writing the checks. So this Patreon page and donations are what keep us going. And since we're a 501c3, your Patreon subscription is tax deductible. It actually counts as a donation. The community is incredible. There's zero social media drama. And if you want to cancel later, fine. Try it for a month. Just scan the QR code or head to patreon.com/the Doctor Patient Forum. We'd love.
I'll go and stop here. It's a great community to support. I definitely recommend going to their Patreon that she's showing. You can join it for free and get information, but then also if you do one of the paid tiers, you get even more information. And it's really helpful for anybody in the pain community, but also they're always sharing Kratom stuff, which I really appreciate that they're such big supporters and advocates. So, wow, wasn't that quite a revelation how Kolodny and KDA have been a lot, and it wasn't just this one-time mention, it was lots of mention in one
Over and
podcast.
over. And I think a couple weeks ago, I seen engagement on X that was from a member of the KDA, but there was an exchange going on, and he had said, and I don't recall the name or anything like that, only that he was a part of them, that there was that the rumors going around that KDA, the lady we were just discussing, she wasn't involved with Kolodny. So she obviously is.
She mentioned him so many times.
Yes. So maybe
it wasn't a one-time accident.
Right.
It was like she
Yeah.
said it. The guy brings it up first. They
Yes.
found her because of Kolodny. It was like,
Mhm.
wait, that right there was a red flag in itself. And then
And
looking
so-
at how many times she said it.
Yeah. And so we know now that if the rumors that are circulating that's not
Were
true.
true.
Well, it is true. I mean, it is true.
It was true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she can't dispute that.
Mm-mm.
Because she put it out, she publicly put it out there.
Yep.
So yeah, so it was bad enough that many of us lost access to our pharmaceuticals to deal with chronic pain. Now they want to take away the same players
Mm-hmm.
want to take away our and use the same playbook. That's why I titled today on YouTube is the opioid playbook that cut off pain patients behind the Kratom bans. Sure looks like it.
Definitely looks like it.
Doesn't sit well. Doesn't sit well.
No.
So we need more people standing up, advocating, sharing your story. For people that want to get their story out there, reach out to me so I can get you on the Kratom Stories podcast and get our voices out. Get on social media. I definitely plan to restart this old program I used to teach. For people that don't know, I've been in digital marketing for decades, and one of the things I love doing is online training and teaching and stuff. And I used to have a program helping people get comfortable being on camera, making videos, doing live streams, and it seems like there's still a need for it. Whenever I bring it up here, everybody's like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So, and that would be a great way to get more people.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people want to advocate more. I think for a lot of people, they just don't know how or what to do or how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a help. I want to help give them the tools to do it. And I think one easy way is just getting comfortable putting information out there. And if you're not comfortable being on camera, there's other ways to do it. You can be anonymous. There are ways to do that. But we need to stop these people from pushing us aside and just plowing through with their narrative that we're all addicts and we don't deserve to not have to suffer in pain.
Because absolutely everybody at some point in their life are going to be in too much pain,
100%.
intolerable pain, not be able to make it to the bathroom or stand up or just absolutely anything, and are going to need a pain reliever. Go to the doctor. You're not you most likely 98%, 99% chance you're not getting any relief there. The only relief you'll be offered is what you buy yourself and keep in your cupboard, and that's Tylenol and ibuprofen. Unless you could get the tea, unless you know.
And there were many days when I had access to opiates, but not enough to really help me, that I did crawl to the bathroom to go to the bathroom. I would roll out of bed, crawl in there, roll in the bathtub. Sometimes I couldn't even get up on the toilet, roll back out, roll back into bed again.
Yep.
It wasn't any
I've
kind of life.
literally been down on my knees because I couldn't make it to the bathroom and there was nobody there to help me, because I literally couldn't wait there, my legs or my back or my feet, and I couldn't do it. Sometimes we use that as a metaphor, but there's some of us out there that's really occurred to. Physically, that was all we could do. There's been times I couldn't get up and I had to roll a towel between my legs to go to the bathroom in it because I couldn't get to the bathroom. I mean, these are real stories, and people don't care. It's because of the amount.
They need to care.
Nobody would pee themselves or even a towel unless they were in dire straits. You don't just do that. Who does that? Unless you absolutely have to and there's no other way.
You have no choice.
All the side effects being blamed on, prescription medication I remember being basically bedridden days on end, weeks on end, that I couldn't get up out of bed. Like, even showering was a task. And it's like, well, I'd shower, just put my pajamas on and go right back to bed. Cause then, like, at that point, it's like, why, but they weren't sitting here going, oh, well, if you take, hydrocodone, this is what you're going to feel. They don't explain the withdrawals. They don't, you don't hear people sitting here harping on the medication. You don't see people harping on, cigarettes, alcohol, any prescription medication that's really like destroying our world.
And my coffee right here, the coffee, I've quit coffee a couple times in my life. I'll be heading on 60, only a couple of times where I went months and months without having it, 2 years once. And this has been more withdrawal, if you want to consider withdrawal, headache and extra blah. And the tea is maybe a little blah, but no withdrawals, like, and I mean the blah because you don't have your relief and maybe tiny bit of feeling sluggish, but nothing that they're pushing out to everybody that's occurring, severe withdrawals that are incapacitating you and you need medical intervention for. That's not, I suppose perhaps if somebody's taking excessively high amount, 60, 70, 80, 100 a day, maybe, I don't know. I know at 20, up to 20, nothing ever happened to me in that regard.
Yeah. I can take up to 35 milligrams, it's like, it's a tablet. And then again, I often wonder if that tablet is exactly 35 milligrams versus where I take the powder 7-0. I know exactly how much I'm getting. But it's like, I won't take any more than like a 35 milligram dose of a 7-0. And that's on a really high pain day. Usually it's like half of that, but even if I was to take it, and I've taken it a couple days in a row, strictly that, because I wanted to see, is this going to withdraw? Am I going to have this feeling? Because, not only is it, I want to know for me, but I also want to know for, customers and people that, hey, like, this is what worked for me,
yes,
give it a try. If this works for you, this is the experience that I have had, or friends of mine had, granted, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical information. This is all my experience, or my friend's experience or customer's experience. But it's like, I didn't have any discomfort the way that I did stopping, when I did my hysterectomy, even stopping the 3 days worth of pain meds that I was on after a month off of Kratom and all botanicals. I stopped everything for a full month before my procedure. The 3 days that I was on the Oxy, coming off of those was hell. Absolutely.
That's
hell.
One experience I don't have because I've never taken Oxys.
Yeah, no, that they gave me that because granted, I do have a high tolerance for pain.
Oxycodone or Oxycontin?
Oxycontin.
Yeah,
Oxycontin. That one is a strong one.
It is. When I switched from my pain meds, my pharmaceuticals to Kratom, for a while, a few weeks, I was kind of doing like this because I was still trying to figure out the right dose, the right strain. It took me some trial. Like, I wasn't one of the lucky ones on the first go. It took some trial and error. So what I would do is I would do Kratom during the day and experiment, and I would go back to my pain meds at night. And so I was still doing Percocet and Oxycontin. And I had weaned down from 40 milligrams of Oxycontin twice a day to when I was starting Kratom, I think I was just taking one. I was down to a 10 milligram Oxycontin, and I was doing that because the doctor wouldn't taper me at first, and I had to beg them. And then they put me on this weird, like, okay, for 1 week you do this milligram one, then the next week, and they just kept lowering the They gave me a small amount to wean myself. Like I literally had to wean myself off of Oxycontin, and they let me keep the same, like I think 10 milligrams of Percocet. But for the Oxycontin, it was just rapid from 40 milligrams twice a day to like, I think 20 and 10 or something. And yeah, so by the time I started Kratom, I was just doing one Oxycontin at bedtime, 10 milligram. That was the lowest one I got to. And when I finally was like, okay, it's the green that works. And I figured out 1.5 teaspoon was about 1.5-ish was perfect. And I was taking it about every 4 hours, and it was helping my pain. So I was like, and I still have my journal. I have it right here on my desk. I documented all this. And when I was like, okay, I'm not going to do the Oxycontin. Like, I feel like the Kratom is working well. I'm not going to take the Oxycontin tonight. I didn't take any of the Percocets for breakthrough. I was going to do the Kratom. Like, let's just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
In my journal, exactly 24 hours after I stopped that 10 milligram Oxycontin, I got hot flashes. Like I was like that. I only had like hot flashes, but it was like a noticeable because I had stopped 2,700 milligrams of gabapentin a day. Like I didn't have any, I know everybody has their horror stories. I did not have any withdrawal issues or anything go while I was tapering off of that and stopping and using Kratom, just natural leaf Kratom. And when I stopped the Percocets, it was the Oxycontin that did it. And so, because it's a strong 12-hour long acting. And while out of all my meds, it was the best one that ever worked for my pain.
Yeah.
It didn't work as good as Kratom. Kratom works way better for me.
Yeah, that was me. The Oxycontin from my hysterectomy. I was like, whoa. I had been on 30 years of pain meds, and I jumped. I literally tapered down, to half a pill the day before, and then I jumped right to Kratom the next day. I didn't have any of that after 30 years.
The Kratom jump
was like, whoo.
The Kratom jumped in and relieved what would have potentially been a harsh withdrawal because it's a partial agonist and partial antagonist. So it like rescued you from any further, like rescue basically. But on the regular tea, I've been up to like the 22 grams a day. On the 7, I was 6, like about 6. The tablets I have are 12. So a half a tablet, nibbles. But then during this move, I did for a few days consume 2 of the 12s, but still as nibbles throughout the day, just all day really, and night, because I really had to get that done. But I still have, when I pulled back on that, still nothing happened.
And you went right back to your usual dose too, right? Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. Yeah.
Yeah. So about 6 to 10. Well, no, I'm about the tablet. Sometimes I'll have a little nibble left of the tablet, but I'm not consuming the more than the 12. But I did for those days. But once I got back here and I'm 5 days in, I'm not.
I dose more when I'm doing more, like if I'm babysitting, like my body's moving more, so the pain is going to come on quicker, versus where like I dosed right before I came on here, and my pain's not going to be like it would be if I was watching it 1.5-year-old for 2 hours, then I'm like, oh, here it comes, here's a little movement, so it's like the more we move our bodies, we've got to control that pain. With the pharmaceuticals, we couldn't do that.
Exactly. And you just adjust for your activity, because I'm limited on, I call it leg time, walking. But since I've been here and been able to be with my grandkids, and they're young, so you have to be on your feet. I've adjusted a little, but I'm still under the tablet, or no more than the 1 tablet. So, but exactly, you just adjust accordingly. With pain medicine, you couldn't do that because you would get you were supposed to every 6 to 8 hours. And so if 2 hours in, the medicine is no longer working. See, okay, I'm getting on a little bit. Some people say because of the half-life in the 7.0, that's why it's dangerous, because you keep needing more, or you, and pain medicine oftentimes was the same thing. It'd wear off in 2.5, 3 hours. It didn't, cover your whole 6 hours. You had to suck it up and wait it out in order
Right.
to stay safe on what you were prescribed and, follow direction. With the 7, I have more leeway. And because I take one tablet and I'm cutting it up into, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 pieces out of that, like little, and then I'll just eat those like, every hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm fine. And still nothing has happened.
It's like a little maintenance dose, where
Like a
we're like, if
breakthrough.
we were on our pharmaceuticals,
Exactly.
we're like,
Mhm.
okay, well,
You
what am
can't
I
do
doing
that.
tomorrow? Oh, I'm not doing much tomorrow. I can take one extra pill today because I'm doing less tomorrow. Like we don't
Right.
have to worry
Right.
about that,
We don't have to worry about it. And I did similar that you did, like trying to test it out with the move and taking more. I had a little reservation in the back of my mind because I hadn't been taking that much yet. Like, everything that everybody's saying, you take too much, you're going to get addicted. You take too much, you're going to, and I'm fine. I'm fine, and I'm lower, and I'm still fine.
And you
And
hold
I still
yourself
utilize,
accountable, and
I hold
that's
myself
key.
absolutely accountable. Absolutely. Yep. And I'm responsible for holding myself accountable. Like sometimes, we pass the buck. We just, because we're trying not to be responsible, we want to make excuses. No, absolutely. So.
What a
And you're
great
able to do
conversation.
things. You're able to function. When I was on stronger meds before, I couldn't function. When I went back to work for the first time on meds, I fell asleep in the bathroom for 20 minutes. I had no clue that was going to happen to me,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and that
when I
doesn't
was on my
happen
meds
with us.
doing hair, I was very irritable because even though I was taking my medication, I was taking, a Soma, which is a exoskeletal muscle relaxer. And I'm sitting there doing hair, and most people will be like, oh my gosh, you'd be like knocked out. No, like my pain is that bad that it's barely touching it. So I'd be taking that and a Vicodin together, and I'm doing, a couple of hours of hair. But then like, most people are like, you're going to be withdrawing if you're not taking it. It's like, no, like I became irritable because my pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I kept being able to do less and less and less. And mentally that messes with you. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're man or woman, like,
right.
If you can't do what you've set out to do, that messes with you. That messes with you big time, So it's like this right here. Oh, look at the baby. This right here, is just, it's literally, when I say it's a lifesaver, it really is, because it is saving lives, whether it be people that are actually living and no longer, on street drugs or overdosing, or people like us with chronic pain who are living our lives. This saved us, because this
living
saved
our
me.
best lives. We're living our best lives.
We are living our best lives. Like
Yep.
this saved my life, not only mentally, but physically. I'm able to get up. I'm able to participate in things that I couldn't do before, like simple things like going to my son's graduation or a simple concert. I wouldn't have been able to do that before, or if I did, I'd be in bed for, anywhere from days to a week or weeks after.
Yep.
And that, like, what kind of quality of life is that? Like mentally, that, like, mentally just alone like that is just terrible. It's a bad space mentally to live in,
Yes, it
like
very
it's
much
not
is.
nice. You feel
Very
like you're a
much.
burden, like
That's right.
it's like, you're a waste of space. Like, I mean, all these thoughts would go through my head,
And then you miss the events, and now you feel like caca because you missed it, and you're never going to get that time back. I know I've missed so much.
Yeah.
I've missed
Yeah.
so much, and I'm able to do more. And
remember it.
Well, and
Yes,
people
make the
not
memories.
understanding, friends and family not understanding. It'd be like, why won't you come out to my thing? I'm like, I don't feel good, and you also know that you're going to pay for it later too.
Yeah.
Oh
When
yeah.
you go
Yeah,
out and do
always.
stuff, and that's what was always so hard because then
Or
I'd
like
be
you look great but they
exactly
don't know how you really feel
right,
inside, and how
right.
inside my mind I'm like, just one more step, just one more step. I'm
I
like,
know, right?
just
That would
because
be
at that
me. That
point,
was always me.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
because I
so
could present myself like I was fine because I was
that's
just
right.
determined to, and I
And
was
people
trying to
could
be in that
never tell.
mindset. Oh yeah,
Yep.
Oh,
I used
without a doubt.
Yeah, I used to tell people like you had no idea the pharmaceuticals I took, all the stuff I dealt with, all the going to the pain management doctor every month, the whole life you live with that. People don't understand because they're
Oh,
not
they have
living
no
it.
idea.
No.
They have
No.
no idea.
Right.
And
You
I
know,
was
to fake it till you make it. You know, you put on that smile and you
That's
fake it till
exactly.
you make it. People
Yeah.
don't realize
100%.
that unless they go through it.
Exactly.
Precisely.
And I always
still
hated,
I
hated
even-
saying I
I
didn't
wrote-
feel good because I thought that they would automatically think I was withdrawing or I didn't have medications even when I did.
Right.
Sometimes, of course, I didn't, but that's what I always thought everybody was thinking as
Yeah.
soon as I said I didn't feel good.
Because there's
Right.
always an element of stigma, no matter what you do, what
Yeah,
you say.
it
how
doesn't
you,
matter which way you
always.
go. And I would
Right.
always just try to get myself looking good and feeling good every time I went to the doctor. And before with the pain management doctor, before him, I was going to the orthopedic surgeon. He was treating me until we got to the point that it was, he said, you need pain management because I can't do any more for you. He couldn't prescribe, long term. They could only do short term. But I'll never forget one time I go to him, and because I was in excruciating pain. So it's right before pain management. I think this is right at the turning point when he's like, I can't help you anymore. Go to pain management. I was suffering. I was in a lot of pain, and I went to go see him. And his words to my face were, "You don't look like somebody who's suffering in pain."
Yeah.
And what I had to do to hold myself together, to have to listen to that BS. And this is the physician, this is the orthopedic surgeon that had been treating me, up until this point that I'd been going to for years, ever since it started with a herniated disc, that over time everything progressed and then everything got chronic. And once I went to pain management, which was in the same practice, by the way, it was a big orthopedic practice. The pain management doctor never treated me that way. He treated me great, and he was always empathetic, and he would take his time. He would listen. You might be there for 2 hours because the waiting room was packed, and this guy would take his time with it. He was young and energetic, and he truly wanted to help people. And I don't fault him with me losing access. It's the system. It was the government. I don't blame him. He was young. I'm sure he didn't want to, I can't imagine these doctors hearing the stories about doctors being sent to prison for prescribing pain meds and to helping people.
My doctor's been the same way. He's, my mom, died in the hands of the pain clinic, because that's what happened. And he's like, I'm not sending you there. Like, I will do whatever possible that you don't have to go there. Wasn't going to do it. And he, he's a little bit older than me, but he also is just like, what the heck, like, what is the system isn't okay. Like, I can't properly treat my patients. And he told me from day one, he goes, I can't properly treat you the way you need to be treated. He goes, this is what's going on with you. This is what they're saying. Like, surgery is not an option. It's pain management for the rest of your life. So it's like, take that with whatever, grain of salt that you will. A lot of people are like, oh, pain management for the rest of life. No, like, you don't understand. Like, it's either pain management on pills that they can't prescribe you, so you have no life, or you find alternatives like what we've done here with Kratom,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to sit there and be treated as a person.
Absolutely. I love that for you guys, that you have good relationships and that are okay with the tea. I haven't been in 10 years ever since all that happened to me. I just haven't been under any care. So,
It's scary. It's hard to trust medical professionals right now because of what they're being paid to do and paid not to do.
100%.
Right. And pain management has turned into, it's not like very few give any pain medicine, and it's all the injections. And I've already had a couple
they make their money.
dozen and a half of those. Not doing that stuff either, because I am sure that even though I already had spinal conditions, that all those injections accelerated my spine into being even worse.
I'm sure it did for me too, because I did so many of those. They were so good at talking me into it.
Yep.
Well, it's like you have to go through the steps. It's just like, say, you've got an issue going on with your neck, boyfriend's going through it right now himself. He's, got a herniated disc. He's had x-rays. This is something that's happened before. He needs an MRI. Well, you get denied for it. Why? Because, you need to do 8 to 12 weeks of physical therapy. So here you are dealing with more pain on top
We
of
just
the
went
BS
through
that
that
you're
too,
already
yeah.
dealing with, and you're getting denied this MRI that a doctor has prescribed for you because you medically need it. And it's like, it's frustrating. Like, why do you have to jump through all those hoops? And then when you do get to physical therapy, they can only focus on one area and not the whole issue. Which,
that's right.
If they can't focus on the whole issue, are they really helping the situation at all? No, they're not.
Yeah, it's become so ridiculous. And that step therapy, they make you achieve all these steps before you could actually get the help you actually need. And then while that's occurring, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Exactly.
They're making all the money.
Exactly.
You're getting nothing because you're paying out so much money, and you're never actually getting the what you need. For example, his MRI, or let's say a pain medicine, because you have to go through all the steps first. And
it's a messed up system. It's
it
a
really
messed up
is.
system.
I've maxed out physical therapy every year. Like my back's not getting better. Madeline's isn't getting better. We've got, 15, 20 years ago, we were told we have the backs of 80-year-olds. It's not improving. Like, it's not going to get, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. I developed scoliosis as an adult. I've shrank from 5'9" to 5'6 3/4. Like, I'm not getting any better. So why do I need to jump through all these hoops? Now I go to physical therapy. I'm assigned physical therapy. And they're like, well, wait a minute. We've seen you. You know what you're doing. Just keep doing all these steps. I'm not going to waste their time. They're not going to waste mine. So fill the appointment for someone else who needs to come in. And, I go back, or they really push, for, the injection or the MRI or whatever it is that you absolutely need. I've got people pushing for me now. And it's like, you've got to fight, because a lot of people forget that these doctors are working for you, not the other way around.
Right.
Like, they are there to work for you, and they need, you got to advocate for yourself, because a lot of people just go in and they're like, oh, the doctor said this, and they give up. It's frustrating because this is how the medical field is right now. A lot of people just give up because this is how it is. We shouldn't be forced to just give up on our own health.
And I sort of have for myself, because I'm just not, it was too traumatic, everything that occurred. And tea was helping enough when I started taking it regularly. I still have horrible bad days. Every morning I wake up is just, the first 2 hours I wake up is just, it's a full on 8, 9 on the pains. But then I get my tea in. I also get the ibuprofen in. I try to, like, my body needs to unlock. It's just so, and then I get a little better, and I have a few good usable hours before I start going down again from, overexerting and the steps and all that. So I feel like at least I'm in a space where I'm okay and I'm stable, and that just means everything to me. So
I always explain it. It's like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. Like, I need a little oil to get me going before I can get up and go, because everything is stiff.
Yes.
Right.
Especially like here where it's cold. Like, my body is cold. It's cold. So it takes a little bit extra for me to get going, especially if it's cold, because like my joints hurt. And like, I think I'm going in for the doctors in a couple of weeks, because I think I've developed Raynaud's, or I don't know.
Raynaud's.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's like, oh, great. What are the underlying issues? You go down that rabbit hole, and it's like lupus or this and that. I'm like, oh, let's just keep adding to the list of stuff.
I've had that for a long time. It's a weird thing.
Oh my gosh. Like, I've been dealing with it, but I guess I'm just so used to dealing with pain that I just chalk it up, and I don't go in until it really bothers me at this point, and my doctor, he knows that, like, I'm very in tune with my body. I pay attention, it's just like a car. I'm very in tune with what's going on with my car. I'm very in tune with what's going on in my body. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, now it's starting to become a problem. So now I'm like, okay, let's go in and see what they say. But I'm like, medication? No, I've already started looking up, like, natural ways to deal with it, and gloves, and like certain things, that you could deal with it, because I'm not going on any meds for it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I just deal with it.
Yeah.
And I was born with arthritis and degenerative issues. So I've always, through my whole life, my little tiny childhood, I've always had to suck it up to a degree. So I have no doubt that on the day that I die, people will not even think that I will be, if pain is a factor, they wouldn't even be able to know. Absolutely wouldn't be able to know. And I know it because I just, there's just no way nobody'd know. It wouldn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Because you learn to mask, you learn to hide it. Society ain't gonna pour woe is us. You know, you gotta
Right.
suck it up and go on in a way. And so
they get tired of hearing us say,
That's
oh, like
right.
this hurts. You know, it's, oh God,
That's
does it ever
right.
hurt? Like, you know,
Yep.
shut up. Like, I would
So
love to say this doesn't hurt, you know,
Right.
like
That's right.
I would love to be able, you know, switch shoes. No, I don't wish anybody the pain that I'm going through, but stand in my body for 5 minutes
That's
and then
right.
tell me how you feel. And then
Right.
like zip it, because if I say, oh, I'm in pain or I'm exhausted, like a nap isn't going to help me. The pain, you know, taking something isn't always going to help me. Like
Right.
I'm exhausted 24/7. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm constantly
That's
tired.
right.
I don't sleep. And I live with it,
true.
you know, I live with it and I make do with what I can. You know, you take away my plant medicine and I kind of don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'll just go black market. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Like you take away my plant meds, I will find a way to get it. That's
Yeah.
how I am.
Same.
People find a way to get, you know, street the
Oh,
pills
yeah.
on the street. You know, they
Right,
get it. You
right.
can get it online. It's all over these Facebook groups that aren't getting shut down, but yet you shut
And
down
in a
Kratom
way, they're-
Facebook groups. You know,
Yeah,
are
make it make
trying to
sense.
they're trying to make people suffer more, and even it's almost like they want to force us to become criminals so they can log us as a criminal, make another excuse, or mark us down, put in our charts or whatever, that we're bad people, addicts or whatever, and then that's it. Now you ain't getting no help either.
well, it's like all these
anymore.
that are banning it right now. Like, how many people immediately became Schedule 1 criminals? Like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
like all of these people, like it just, some of them happened overnight, like Florida, boom, you can't have it, you know, and it's like Connecticut, boom, it's lost. Ohio, like that's going on, like everything. And like the language is so confusing now that it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know if you can even have regular plain leaf kratom because 7-0 is naturally occurring in it. So they're like, oh, you can't have it. If it's banned, you can't have any of it. And
It's confusing, but Ohio did
so
just
bad.
clarify that the powder,
Yes.
but it still is hard to understand. And if you're a company or manufacturer, you're going to be very cautious because you're not going to want to have lawsuits or go to jail.
There's vendors that
or
just aren't shipping
fines.
anymore to Ohio. They're just, they
Yeah.
don't want to risk it, you know, and I don't
Right.
blame
I don't
them. You know,
blame
I don't blame
'em.
them.
No,
You
they
know,
need to
nobody
be
wants to
better.
risk their freedom.
Well, the language needs to always be more clear, with these laws because they make it so murky. Like, what does this really mean?
Well, when we started hearing the word ban come from our higher ups that we're supposed to be trusting, that right there was a sinking ship. The moment they said ban, it was a domino effect, you know. And now look at, we've got, we've got both sides again, you know. We've got the pro kratom only sides against people that are taking the 7-OH, and it's like, no, like this is naturally occurring in the plant. You say ban, you're taking away the entire plant altogether. Watch your language, because like regulation, that's what I would say. Regulation is key, because if you regulate it, you're going to save the plant. If you ban it, everything's going to be gone. And that's kind of what they want right now. They want it gone because it's going to go to the pharmaceuticals. You know, they say, oh, it's such a bad thing, but you know, they're studying it right now. It's right available online. You just do a Google search on it and you can find it. They're studying, you know, the MIT and the 7-OH for withdrawals and for pain management. Why the hell they want to study it and take it away from us if that, you know, because of money.
Right.
But also, you got too many bad actors in the industry for 7-OH. You know,
God.
I mean, that whole Goob Undercover thing was fascinating because, I mean, walking up to all those, I know it was mostly salespeople that didn't know anything, but still talking about it and saying it's like a perk. I mean, that's bad.
Yeah.
But then again, there's been kratom companies that have done tactics like that too. I mean, but it's just all of that is bad and looks bad and comes back to us as consumer advocates that are just trying to keep everything safe and legal.
Yeah.
So the industry needs to be cleaned up on all sides.
Yeah,
for sure.
And when it's so confusing like that, it goes back to law enforcement too. That's going to be pulling these people over and having to deal with it and figure out what it is and what they're going to do with it and how they're going to treat the people that have kratom in their cars who aren't criminals. Are they going to treat them like criminals because of what they heard?
Well, it's like you wonder, are they going to be treated like Marshall Price and Shayna Brown? Like, look at what they're doing. Like, Marshall lost his life over kratom. Like, come on. You know, Shayna, like,
still
really,
has it
like,
hanging over her head.
I know. Like, nobody should be going to for a freaking plant. Like it's a plant. This isn't like a heroin plant. This isn't opium. Like this is no different than drinking like, you know, your coffee or your tea. Like this is, you know, it's just, you know, some people consume it as a tea. Some people consume it like myself as a toss and wash. It's just a lot easier. I don't have the time for it. You know, it's like just one and go. You know, it's a shame because like, you know, you have people that are educating us. You know, you've got Dr. Michelle Ross, you've got McCurdy, you've got all these doctors that are sitting here saying that oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And it's like, but you have, oh no, it's overdose. And then you've got, you know, the news sitting there saying what they're saying. And it's like, it's the domino effect of telephone. It's like the worst, you know, miscommunication and misinformation that's spread. And it's frustrating because you have, here we are fighting, you know, we shouldn't be having to talk about fighting for this plant. We should be sitting out here just talking, praising what this plant does for us. And we are fighting tooth and nail to keep this freaking plant alive and in our lives. And we shouldn't be going through this. Like we shouldn't. We should not. We won back in 2016 and 17 when the FDA and the DEA wanted to schedule it. And they don't want to schedule it because it's got its safe properties.
Right. And the thing is, the anti-kratom people need to remember here, if it was so bad, they were already looking at banning it and it didn't happen. Why did it not happen? Because the science doesn't support it. So how long, that's going to be 10 years now. So like, why all of a sudden is this like, it needs to be banned, needs to be banned. Science doesn't support that.
No, and neither do the constituents in Connecticut that they're trying to schedule it.
I feel bad. You know, Massachusetts is 20 minutes from me. Connecticut, it's like an hour and a half drive, and I can't go to Connecticut. You know, still like everything that's going on in California. Don't know what the heck. You know, do I feel safe going home? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, it's like anywhere that's starting to ban it, it's terrifying me. Massachusetts, like I'm in Massachusetts quite a bit. Yeah. You know, I've got a lot of friends in Massachusetts. The boyfriend's in Massachusetts, so it's like I go there. You know, it's like. Am I going to be a felon for driving around with a little green powder in my freaking, you know, car? Like that's a scary thought. You know, it's a scary freaking thought.
It is very scary.
And what are they going to do when, you know, you've got Connecticut or, you know, places like California, there's thousands and thousands of consumers in both states. Like, where are they going to house all these people that are now criminals? Like, where is that? Where are they going to put all these people? You know, like they're not criminals. They're taking it for their mental well-being, for their physical health, and we're going to punish people for it and schedule it like it's heroin. It's not killing people. Kratom has been around for centuries. No one's dying from it. If we were all dying from it, this would have been something that was talked about centuries ago, and the FDA and DEA would have banned it.
Right. And we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here talking. It's like we've been here for 2 hours and 21 minutes. Do any of us look like we're having hallucinations? Are we sweating? What is all those symptoms I was reading off earlier? I mean,
seizures. We all have our faculties about us. We're all very coherent and with it. You know, none of us are nodding out. None of us are, you know, doped up. You know, we're not sitting here slumped over, you know, like you see, you know, you go out in the streets and you see it anywhere now. It's like, you know, I call it the Fetty lean because they're kind of like Michael Jackson's, you know, like, you know, like they're just like sitting there like you know, the Thriller.
It's
they look
scary
like
looking.
It's scary to sit there and see them that way. And it's like, man, you know, like we're not like that. We're not like that. And we've never been like that. No one that I've ever seen take Kratom or 7-0 has ever been like the street drugs or even freaking prescription medication.
To be when it's just nothing like they're trying to portray it to be at all.
Exactly.
That's why we got to keep talking about it and getting our positive stories out there and keep this alive, because if we don't talk about this, they're going to win because they're fooling everybody.
And our families too. Get your families in to talk about it, because if they see our families supporting us, the families wouldn't be supporting us if it didn't help, you know?
Exactly.
So
I mean, my son's a
big
biochemist, you know, he sees, you know,
excellent.
I said, hey, read this study. What is it? He goes, it looks like they're about ready to make it into a pharmaceutical. That's what he does. He read it all and he goes, it looks like they're about ready to make it into a pharmaceutical. And he's talking about MIT and he's talking about 7-OH, you know, and it's like they're taking those, and that's what they're doing right now. They're doing studies on it to take it away from us because they see the positive that it's doing for everybody.
And it's still not going to help some people. Some people it won't actually get the the help from it, because if you don't have access to your doctor, you don't have insurance, you have barriers to care, whether it be like I'm just afraid to go because I'm just afraid to go, or because of copays when you might have insurance but you have all these copays. There's barriers and people will still not have access to it.
My
by
son doesn't
making
have
it a
health insurance right
pharmaceutical.
now. He's 26 years old, has nothing
See,
wrong with
that's
him,
sad.
and he'd be paying over $2,000 a month out of pocket so he can have health
Wow.
insurance. That's a huge chunk of his pay, like
yeah.
And for what? Like, he goes to the doctor once a year for a physical, like, just pay for that out of pocket. But then God forbid something happen, but it's like, even, people's deductibles went, from 0 to 6,000. Like, that's a huge increase. There was a podcast article on it the other day of some lady that was just, she went from a $0 deductible to a $6,000 deductible, and it's like she went from paying like 60 something dollars a month for her pain medicine to a couple $100 for her medication. And that, and she's dipping into her savings. Like, people should not have to do that in order to get medication to survive.
And that's why for me that 7 should remain legal and have age restrictions and
The regulations,
safety
yeah.
regulations and all that. And so, because there's always going to be periods in life that people are going to need pain relief and they're not going to be able to get to a doctor or even get it unless it's all a part of the broader plan.
Well, just take a look in the areas now that have banned it. Look at the overdose rate, what it was prior to things being banned, and now look at it now, because it's starting to go back up. Overdoses are climbing. When they were down over it was like 25% in less than a year, like that. We've never had those remarkable numbers. We've never heard overdoses ever being down that much. Fentanyl, this new xylitol without, Narcan's helpful, but you know what? So is our plant medicine, and a lot of people, including 7-0, are using this as an alternative. So they're alive. They're not using street drugs. They're not using pharmaceuticals. And it's like, overdoses are going up in certain areas. My friend Mike that I talked to in one of his areas, he does a lot of harm reduction too. And he teaches people, and he's helped people, start with 7-0 and come off of hard street drugs and then get down to just Kratom. And he's like, nope, now the overdoses are going back up again because, things are banned here. And it's like, they don't care when it's overdoses are going up. What are they going to do? Overdoses are going up. Oh, but because people are using Kratom illegally? No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Look at the street drugs that people have to go back to because you're taking away someone's plant.
Right.
But you know what's so frustrating? There was a time where there's not so much media attention on Kratom. It was how many people are dying every day from fentanyl overdoses and just all the street drugs and like the problem with all of that.
You don't hear that now.
No,
you don't hear that.
No,
you don't hear anything about what's going on with, the pharmaceuticals. You don't hear that, doctors can't treat their patients correctly. Oh, people are dying from street drugs. You're not hearing that. Like, you'll see the videos, people are on fentanyl, but you really don't see those either anymore. Everything on the news has been so hard focused on Kratom in the last year out of nowhere. We've been blindsided state by state out of nowhere. And it's like, people are like, oh, it's because of 7-0. No, it's not. Stop and do it. Take a moment and just stop. Think for yourself. Stop following the narrative that's going on. Do your own research and look at what's going on in the world and go, why is this happening? Oh, okay. This is why it's happening. Come on. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
And they were talking about the extracts before the 7-0.
Oh gosh. Right. Oh, MIT. Yeah. First it was Kratom was, it's the street drug heroin. And then it went to MIT and now it's 7-0. It's like, it's just a blame game. It's a scapegoat. It's, let's just find something else to blame the real problems of the world on.
Right.
Yeah. 2 whole years. It was only about the extracts.
Oh,
we're just now hearing about 7-0 in the last year. It's been around since 2023. Where is no one was dying up until all of a sudden. No one's dying from it now either. CDC's paying toxicologists, put it on their death certificate. Start doing research, people, because if you dig a little bit, it's insane.
Anymore. We don't hear nothing about the extracts anymore. And I wouldn't, even though I don't prefer extracts and I hardly ever use extracts, I wouldn't take that option from somebody else who wants to utilize it responsibly. responsibly. Same with cannabis. Just because I don't use it or it doesn't help me doesn't mean that I would take that from somebody else who is saying that they are getting relief from it.
Right.
For
And
whatever
look how cannabis used to be demonized. I mean,
Oh gosh.
I grew
And
up
but
with
they're
that.
starting to come
That was-
back after it again. They're starting to come back after it again. It's like because it's taking away from big pharma. In the end, it's taking away from the money.
It's always about money.
It's always about money. It's a sick world we live in.
And
it really
it's
is.
none of my business if they're using it for pain, if they're using it for anxiety, if they're using it for chill, for the whole shebang. It's like literally none of my business. If you're still, once again, you're not out hurting people in order to get it. It's none of my business.
And you're an adult.
You know? And you're an adult and you're, staying safe with yourself. That's none of my business. I wouldn't advocate to, to tell people they couldn't have it.
Yeah, it's like,
Or,
I mean, look at how many people we've got with DUIs that are going out, multiple times, people that have killed people, drunk driving, killed people, and boom, they're out of jail. And they just have they have to blow into some freaking device so they can drive again. Like,
and they're out that same day. I watch a lot of the
like,
police
what
cam
is going
videos.
on,
And I think they said in New Jersey, it's not even like it's just a citation. They get a citation for their DUI and they're back out again. It's crazy to sit there and watch how they act. And they just have to have somebody pick them back up and they're on their way home 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row.
And how come alcohol is not ever demonized? Well, because of money and lobbyists.
Are back there having their drinks while they're in session. I mean, I mean, I know. I mean, I'm not going to say who and where it comes from. I know for a fact that occurs. It is a fact that it occurs.
Yeah.
It just does, and have their drinks over there.
Well, it's do what I say, not what I do. It's do what I say, not what I do, and we're fed up with it.
Of course, because we're the minions and the little insignificance or whatever to them. Anyway, we're not, but to them, they get to do what they want. But
exactly.
Not
This has been a long chat today. We're 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
I do have to go, ladies. So
I need to.
It's been good. I've missed you all. I've missed you all. I'm glad I've got my voice back so I can join in again. I'll be away for the next couple of weekends, but we'll definitely get me back on here.
I know it was short.
I know. I woke up from a nap and I'm like, yep, I'm up. Let me just dose really quick.
Thank you for joining us.
And look at you. You look great. And you're not
Thanks. I'm like, fresh out of a nap, not half bad.
I didn't see a
T-shirt.
I know, you look great. You look great. We all do.
All right, guys. I love you all. Be safe. I will see you
Love
guys
you
soon.
Thanks, Amanda.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
We appreciate you joining us. I'm so glad she was able to be here with us. Yeah, we need to wrap up. This is a long time for me to sit.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to move
know.
around.
I almost stood up and started walking. So I might do
know,
that
my
one
back's
day,
hurting.
but hopefully it won't look too bad.
My back hurts just from sitting. Like back in pain management, I would not have been able to sit this long because of Kratom. I can, but I still have my limitation. I need to get
Right, me too.
But this has been a great conversation today.
Oh, it was a great show.
Excellent.
This is great. And thank you to all. We have a bunch of people here from X, so from Christopher's X account. Thank you all so much. And,
excellent.
I know it's going to take a while to rebuild our YouTube. We got people, we appreciate those here live on YouTube, but it's slow going because we lost our account due to censorship. This is a brand new account we're on. But yeah, we got like 60 people over on X.
Nice.
Wow. Thank you.
I'm keeping an eye over there too.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people watching us. So we appreciate that. So thank you to Christopher for
thank you so much
putting our live stream out there. But
thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, we do this every Saturday. We've been doing this for just over 2 years now. And just like we were saying before, when we started this live stream 2 years ago, it was extracts. Extracts was the thing being demonized constantly in the news. That's all we talked about here. And it's so interesting how we don't ever hear about extracts. It's all about 7-OH. And it's like, if it's not one thing, it's something else,
Yep.
Always something, but it's not going to stop us from advocating because our message is too important. So
just get louder.
Exactly.
Louder.
I love that. Just get louder. So I'll have the links to everything we watched and talked about. I'll put it in the YouTube description. For those of y'all on X, if you want links to these videos we watched, just come over to my YouTube channel. It's at Kratom Real Talk. That's our new home on YouTube. And be sure to come over there. A little later, I'll go through and put the description up with the links. But yeah, great discussion, y'all. I think since we're all fired up, we'll end with think this is perfect for ending with "You Can't Ban My Roots" because it's such a great,
Nice.
Perfect.
great anthem song, high energy. So yeah, this was good. We took something that we watched today that got us upset, that got us riled up, the way, the people behind getting opioids restricted, and making it so we can't access them for legitimate pain, to now some of those same players are behind trying to ban kratom. Is terrible.
But we see you.
We need to be exactly.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am.
But is to inform our community. They need to know
Mhm.
about this.
Yeah.
And definitely a shout out to Bev Scheckman at Dr. Patient Forum for putting the dots together.
Yes.
And
was
putting it out
amazing.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great video she made. Excellent video.
Excellent. Yes.
When I saw it was 15 minutes long, I'm like, there's that much to talk about. Like, what is she going to be talking about? Because usually her videos, I mean, I guess they vary in length, but I watched the whole thing and I was like, oh my God, we're going to watch this tomorrow on the Kratom Gals because we got to talk about this. So, and I was hoping to try to get, I knew it was very last minute, but I did tweet her yesterday. I was hoping that maybe her or Claudia would come on to come talk about this. So maybe we can get them another time to come, because I would love to hear more about their thoughts on this.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I find that advocating for kratom, I also am advocating for pain pain
right.
patients too. So
Oh,
people
we
in
all
pain.
do. Look at us. We have been in those shoes, and when the pain community, when Claudia and all them were putting out to the community this year and last year, like, in the last few years, like, hey, government's at it again. They want less manufacturing of the opiates. We kratom consumers, because so many of us came from there, we were all doing the petition and leaving our comments, and they weren't getting a whole lot of current pain patients doing that. But we're all so good at advocating. We know how to jump in and
and this year they didn't even give us much time, because I do it every year. They barely gave 2 weeks, and it really wasn't
much
many
time.
signatures.
But they do that. The government does it by design. They don't. They have to do a notice, but they don't have to give much notice, and so they always try to do as little as possible, and it makes it really hard. So yeah. So for those that don't know, the government has actively been reducing the amount of opioid manufacturing. My pain management doctor told me about it. I think it was 2012 or 2011. He told me about it a long time ago. And they've done it every year. So they've been doing this for well over a decade. So just so people know, the government has forced opioid manufacturers to manufacture less. It's a % less they have to do every year. And I know
oxycodone is going to take, the Percocet or oxycodone is going to
they're
take
taking a big hit.
Major hit.
Well, and one of them, Melancrop, which was one of the brands I remember using in pain management. One of this, there were several of them, but I remember I think it's Melancrop.
That was my favorite. It was the one that worked the best out of any of them.
That one didn't work well. I always liked that. Was one brand that I always noticed didn't work as well, and it was the generic oxycodone or Percocet, one of those. They're stopping it all. Like I read just recently, they're not even going to manufacture it anymore.
Yeah.
So this is government pushing out and controlling companies.
Right.
It's like if all these, like, they let all this happen, they let it is. I mean, I don't want to get a whole big conversation because I know it could, but I still, and I know Claudia from Dr. Patient Forum talks about it all the time, but I agree with her. There's so much blame on Purdue, which makes OxyContin. They were not the only ones with those crazy marketing plans and selling these pharmaceuticals. They were all doing it back then, way decades ago. But also the FDA got paid off to let them push OxyContin through and say it was not addictive. It's like, why do they always shift blame? Who's responsible? Ultimately, it was the government's responsibility, and they failed because you had an employee that was motivated by money. And, I took OxyContin for years. I never got addicted to it. I know people did, and that's fine. Whatever. Everybody's different. I never had a problem with it. It worked well on me. And it's like, let's just blame this one company because we saw how they were marketing and selling it. And it was bad. Heck yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. It worked for me too, but I couldn't get it, you know, except for on the streets when it was what they said it was. So
Yeah. I feel like
just keep fighting, stay
just keep
strong.
fighting. Exactly. And we will stay strong. So thank you all so much for hanging out and listening to us. And we
Thank
had
you all.
lots to
thank
say.
you, everybody.
So we'll be back next week because we're always here, always talking about Kratom. So yeah, let's leave y'all today with "You Can't Ban My Roots," such a great song, and we'll see y'all soon.
I love it.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
You can't ban my truth. Hey, Florida, we see the game. HB 1489, not today. Natural leaf, ancient tree. Now they wanna make it a felony. Nah, we ain't playing that corporate tune. Kratom's the voice of 1,000 moons. From the fields to the streets to the healing hands, you can't kill what the earth commands. They assess certification, regulation, tricks. Just another play to make the people sick. They write the rules, we break the chains. Your lobby games won't own our brains. One voice, one fight, we rise tonight. You can't ban my roots. I'm a child of the storm. I was born to be free. I ain't bending no more. You can't break my truth. You can write your lies, but the people rise. No 1489. Mail orders ban, remote sales cut. Who's that help? Big Pharma's gut. They don't want plants, they want pills. They don't want cures, they want bills. But guess what? We ain't that dumb. We'll shout this message till the war is won. Kratom's our anthem, Kratom's our right. HB 1489, we fight tonight. They write the rules, we break the chains. Your lobby games won't own our brains. One voice, one fight, we rise tonight. You can't ban my roots. I'm a child of the storm. I was born to be free. I ain't bending no more. You can't break my truth. You can write your lies, but the people rise. No one's on 89. You can't outlaw the trees. You can't outlaw the breeze. You can't outlaw the dreams. We are Kratom. We are free. You can't ban my roots. I'm a child of the storm. I was born to be free. I ain't bending no more. You can't break my truth. You can write your lies, but the people rise.